And we are live here, week 8. And I'm sure some people would like to forget this week, but most of the people that we're talking to will be having an unforgettable week. This is the DraftKings Sweat Show, week 8, live from Boston. We've got a pretty decent Monday night game. It is raining, but we've got the Colts at the Panthers, at the Carolina Panthers, and we've got some fun sweats. So I'm Soccer Dave, David Kitchen. I'll be your host for tonight. We have some of fellow DraftKings analysts that will be joining us, and we've got a lot of people that we'll be interviewing throughout the night. So this should be a fun show. Let's get right to it. As far as the Millionaire Maker, we have a lot of people that are in this contest that we'll be talking to. So we have in 10th place, G-Val Style. 10th place, 252.24. So they are a little under 9 points behind first place, Purple People Eater with a 261. So G-Val Style. We'll be interviewing him in a second. He's got Jonathan Stewart left, so he needs Stewart to go for over 9 points. Conditions are a little bit interesting with this rain. So you saw that there is a turnover in the very first position, the snap center quarterback exchange. So that's interesting. And then we have in 14th place, Scuba Ranger. Scuba Ranger actually just jumped up to 10th place just now on that fumble recovery. So they have 12 points from the Panthers. They're at a 252. So Scuba Ranger has jumped right in front of G-Val Style, and that's going to be the story, really. As far as the Millionaire Maker, there is a few other flex positions behind, but barring nothing crazy happens, the story is going to be, can Jonathan Stewart get over 10 points? Elsewhere, if he doesn't get over 10 points, can this Panthers D, with a little negative correlation going on, can this Panthers D get over 20 points? These are $1 million questions we're talking about here. Scuba Ranger in 10th. So, like I said, we'll be talking to those guys soon. Just for you to hate has Jonathan Stewart and Panthers in the 39th position. So 244, and they are 17 points back. So looking at this, you've got just for you to hate in 39th position. That means that they need the Panthers to get, 9 more points or 11 more points, and then they would actually have G-Val Style blocked. So that is a pretty tall order to get 23 points from your defense, but we've seen crazier things happen on this Sweat Show. So without further ado, let's go to Andrew Wiggins. Andrew Wiggins is our DraftKings analyst. You might know him as Makasupa, the guy who won everything opening night for NBA. He's our NBA guy, but he also talks a little NFL with us. Andrew, you there?
I'm here. How you doing, Dave?
Dude, how are you doing? You got NBA going on. I know you're just thrilled.
Yeah, it's good to have it back, especially when you have some down weeks in the NFL. It's good to have that time in between where you can just get right back at it with NBA, and that's what I'm doing tonight. So,
yeah, same here. I mean, really, the big story, we're just kind of avoiding those injuries, huge injuries. I know that I had mostly Le'Veon Bell in my lineups yesterday, and he got hurt. How was your team doing?
I got a lot of stuff right, but the injuries kind of were my big downfall. I had Le'Veon Bell a lot in pretty much all of my lineups in cash and a lot of tournament lineups as well. Fitzpatrick was a quarterback that I had some. I ended up sticking with a little bit of Ladarius Green. He only played one quarter, so it was just kind of all over the place. It could have been a good week, but I guess it wasn't to be.
Yeah, I feel like there are a few different kind of storylines in this game. We can talk about some of them. So let's take a look at some of the storylines from week 8. We have injuries. That is the first and biggest. Talked about Le'Veon Bell. He talked about Ladarius Green. Brandon Marshall went out for a little bit. You just had so many injuries yesterday, and it cost some people. Nate Washington caught that big touchdown pass. It just seemed like as we were going on throughout the day, there were just some major injuries. Smith, I know a guy that you like, Steve Smith Sr., went down, and he might be done for his career. Like, do you think he's done for his career?
Yeah, I do. It's sad. It's a sad way to go out, but it's a heck of a career, and you really got to tip your hat to him. But yeah, it's tough to come back from that injury, especially when you're as old as he is. What, 37 years old? I mean, he's up there. So I'd be surprised if he ever plays again, especially since he was already talking about retiring.
Yeah, he's no spring chicken. A couple of other guys got dinged up. You've got a Forte, who cost a lot of people, was in a really good spot, and you saw the Bears just with Langford. Just he missed a key third down pass, so that was rough. And then you also had as far as other guys, Mike Evans got dinged up at late, so some key injuries to some highly owned guys. And this is a rough season for running backs. So just to make a list, we got a little graphic up. We've got Arian Foster, Le'Veon Bell, Matt Forte, Carlos Hyde, another guy yesterday, and then Reggie Bush actually went down his backup, and then Jamal Charles. Like, we're talking about, if you play season long, first-round guys that are going down.
Yeah, that's 3 first-rounders that you just listed off, maybe 2 depending on your league. But that hurts, and that's why we like playing daily fantasy, because if you lose one of those guys in season long, you're pretty much toast, especially a guy like Le'Veon Bell. I'm sure there were teams that were kind of excited, waiting for him after the suspension, and he came back, and they were excited to fire him up, and yeah.
Yeah, Big Ben's first week back, and he gets hurt. So, yeah, as far as the running backs go, I thought about Charcandrick West yesterday, proved that he was the guy at running back. Like, unfortunately, we'll talk about in a second. Running backs suck, but Charcandrick West did look good. The only bad part is that game was in the early game. It did not count for the main slate. But you had him and Alex Smith that did really well.
Yeah, I liked both of them going into the weekend, but it was tough to play them. If you played the Thursday slate and you were looking at that cheap price, well, Lamar Miller was the same cost as West, so I thought it was probably difficult to play West if you were looking in that range, and I didn't end up playing either, but West was in a good spot. He got all the touches the week before. There's been rhetoric coming out of there like, he's a poor man's Jamal Charles, which is, I found it funny that people were saying that, like, I think within the organization, but it's probably true a little bit. And they were favorites with one of the higher team totals that you would see for the Chiefs. I think it was around 25, and it just seemed like a good spot for all of them. I like Macklin too, and he kind of didn't really do much and then got bailed out by a touchdown late. And we also saw Kelsey finally score a touchdown for the first time since that outburst in week 1. So it's just good to see that whole offense get on track there.
Yeah, and just we'll see what happens this next week. We'll be talking about it throughout the show, but this is going to be an interesting millionaire maker, because we really thought this guy that's in 10th place with 9 points he needed from Stewart. Now you've got the Carolina defense that has 2 turnovers on the first 2 possessions. So now you've got Scuba Ranger that is moving up the board. It's always tough sweating a team defense, Andrew.
Yeah, it is, especially when you need them to do well to move up in a tournament, like in a spot like this. And I mean, you couldn't ask for much of a better start. The weather is probably playing a role in this. So you got to be feeling pretty good if you have them. But, if you have Stewart too, like they're going to have good field position here again, and they're looking to maybe build a lead. And if that's the case, Stewart will probably be getting the ball. So I think Stewart is a pretty big favorite to get 10 points tonight. But, you just don't know. You want to see it happen before you start counting that money.
Scuba Ranger is in 8th place, and the thing is, like, it's tough. We saw last week with Indianapolis being so bad in the first half. Well, he still scored points in the second half, so it's tough keeping that shutout on this Colts team. But we'll see. We talk about, though, the next talking point: the shootout in New Orleans, or Nolans, as they say down there. You had the highest team total, or second highest team total for the week. We talked about it on the show, but really we didn't know who was going to get the passes from the New Orleans side, and we found out yesterday it didn't matter.
No,
they're all getting the passes.
Yeah, that was kind of I liked Brees in tournaments. It was maybe a little tough to play him in cash games. I kind of wanted to see him do it, and also I was concerned that maybe they would just continue to run it in the red zone. But man, he looked great. It was one of those spots that I think in years past people would have been on really heavy. It was a healthy team total of a little over 26. They were at home, but he just hadn't been playing all that well. It wasn't even that. It was just like he hadn't been getting the touchdowns, and there was talking maybe not being quite healthy enough to get the deep ball going. But I think it's pretty clear after seeing that he's 100%, and I expect people to probably ride him pretty hard going forward.
All right, so we're talking about like the fantasy game for the ages. This is like the second highest points for a quarterback is since I think 1998. Wow. A lot of quarterbacks. Colin Kaepernick in that. I don't know if you remember that game. This is when we thought Colin Kaepernick was going to be the best. In that game versus Green Bay in sub-zero temperatures, had 50.62 fantasy points. Drew Brees, 50.54 fantasy points. And this is something that it seems like you had to have either Brees and the double handcuff with two New Orleans wide receivers, or you had to have an Eli ODB stack.
Do you have that whole list there? Is that Vic Monday Night Football game on there? That was always a favorite of mine.
The Vic Monday Night game is not. We got Peyton Manning with 49 points, Foles with 48. This is that Foles game where that was the week that our buddy Headchopper won everything against Oakland. Ben Roethlisberger last year with a 47.78. Tony Romo, Russell Wilson, Josh McCown a couple years ago for Chicago when Cutler went down. Fitzpatrick against Tennessee last year, and then Rodgers, Schaub, Drew Brees, and the last guy, Eli Manning. Yes,
I forgot about that Fitzpatrick game last year where he threw 6 touchdowns.
Yeah, he was close to minimum salary too. It's $5,400.
Unbelievable, yeah.
So yeah, Drew Brees needed literally 3 passing yards to surpass Colin Kaepernick as the record for most DraftKings points.
Man, and how far has Kaepernick fallen? I mean, holy smokes, they cannot move the ball whatsoever. He just looks like a shell of himself. And, I think part of it is the defense is just figure out how to play him, but I think mentally as well, he's just a broken man, unfortunately.
Yeah, and this was a game that was kind of like I don't know. I really think it's an outlier as far as the number of points being scored. Captain Obvious, but usually you do not see this many points being scored in a half, let alone a game.
Yeah.
Or a game, let alone a half. But yeah, you've got the Breeze, and you also have the high scoring quarterbacks with Eli and Drew. Drew Brees, Eli Manning, the highest scoring quarterbacks of the season, and then Carson Palmer, Derek Carr, and Phillip Rivers.
Yeah, and you had Ben Watson, who actually was kind of owned on DraftKings, I think around 10, 15%. He wasn't a guy that was really on my radar. Maybe he needs to be you call me the tight end whisperer, but I've missed bad on Watson, and also Barnidge is a guy that I called him that one week, and I haven't played him since, and he's just been doing it every single week. So I need to recalibrate the tight end stuff over here.
Yeah, the tight end whisperer is going off of Barnidge. The next thing we have to talk about is wide receivers were red hot yesterday. Running backs were not. Not at all. We talked about Le'Veon Bell, but the other guys, the heavy chalk guys, Forsett was not good at all. Even guys like Woodhead on the opposite side. Mark Ingram didn't really do there is just pretty much any running back that you can think of did not do well. Injuries definitely played a part of that with Forte. We do see a lot of McFadden with Gurley. Gurley was the exception. But this is something that running back was just pretty terrible yesterday.
Yeah, and even Gurley was kind of quiet by his standards, except for, of course, the 70-yard touchdown they ripped off. But if you take that play away, I was expecting more, and especially when he did that pretty early. I thought he was well on his way to another monster game. He had a very good game. I think probably the highest scoring running back, but didn't do a ton in the second half. And then another guy, Adrian Peterson, who's just been very unlucky as far as finding the end zone this year. Thought he ran really well. Watched a lot of that Bears game. Was ripping off big chunks, but he only ended up with 100 yards, no touchdown, and maybe he caught a pass or two, but not really getting it done for the price on DraftKings. I think he's a guy to target in tournaments who should find the end zone a couple times at some point here. But yeah, it's been pretty unlucky so far.
Yeah, and now that'll be the interesting thing with Jonathan Stewart is a lot of people either have Panthers D or Jonathan Stewart going tonight. So as we're going to see like how that's going to play out. McFadden, 17.3 points and was 12.7% owned, was a value play. And so you saw that the people that went Gurley, McFadden, and then basically high-priced wide receivers did well. You mentioned Adrian Peterson. On the other side of that, I think a huge story with these wide receivers is Stephon Diggs. 48% owned, and he kind of lucked into that touchdown. Like it was at the very end, he was quiet, like single digits, low scoring single digits, and that touchdown, long touchdown, meant that people got rewarded for a pretty nice game, all considered.
Yeah, I don't know if it's totally fair to say he lucked into it. He made a nice move and put the guy in his heels and found the end zone that way. He also was really heavily targeted. He had 12 targets. It's pretty clear he's the number one receiver there. And he wasn't doing a lot before that. It was about, 35, 40-yard touchdown. So that really solidified his day. And it was very late. So it may be a little lucky, but, man, he looks good. I saw today he's like the 9th highest receiver rated by PFF. I don't know if that was for the whole year, just the 3 weeks he's been playing. But that surprised me a little bit. But, man, I don't know what his price is next week, but I'll probably keep playing him.
Yeah, he actually did not get the bonus, but he was close, 5 yards short. Another guy, Scuba Ranger, when you talk about like a game of inches or game of yards, Scuba Ranger had Devonta Freeman, who had overtime and still didn't do anything with overtime. They didn't really use Freeman at all in OT, and they end up losing like the Falcons past 2 weeks. Titans took them down to the wire, could have forced an overtime, and then they had to come back to force overtime, still lost. But Freeman, 88 yards. So you're talking about he salvaged his game with some catches, but if he got 12 more yards, that would have been 4.2 more points for Scuba Ranger, which would have put him currently in 4th, and with the team defense kind of put him as close as he could be. So Devonta Freeman, another guy. Taking a look at his lineup, Scuba Ranger has Drew Brees, Todd Gurley, Darren McFadden, Odell Beckham, Brandon Cooks, Willie Snead, Benjamin Watson, Devonta Freeman, and Panthers. So he went with the 3 Saints receivers. So the Al Smizzle lineup, the 3 Saints receivers with Cooks, Snead, and Watson this week. Like,
yeah, you kind of need a crazy game for that to work out, but he got just that. And as far as Freeman, it's funny like how high the bar was set by him early in the season because he still had 19 points, which was a pretty good game. And I thought that he got a little unlucky in the sense that I think they had 2 fumbles. One of them was a handoff, another was Matt Ryan just dropping the ball. And so they were turning the ball over when they shouldn't have been. He was getting looks in the red zone and just didn't quite get into the end zone. It could have been a much bigger game, especially if they weren't fumbling the ball all the time. But 19 points isn't too bad for that price. Maybe tough to win the thing when you only get that much from your most expensive player. But
yeah, I think the issue is that he was so expensive that you couldn't go Odell Beckham or Julio Jones, or AJ Green. Like those guys had monster games. Taking a look at the number 1 lineup, they had Chris Johnson as that second running back, and then Odell, Michael Floyd, Willie Snead, Benjamin Watson, Julio Jones. But it's fairly clear that this was like the main story. So I think we had a Jonathan Stewart touchdown. And so what that's going to do is propel a lot of people. So you've got Scuba Ranger, which will probably be passed by a few people now. G-Val Style will move currently into third place. Yeah, third place. It just updated with a 260.04. So he is 1.1 points behind. Our buddy Pete, I think, also has some J Stu for some qualifiers. So this will be interesting to see how it plays out with Stewart. And Just For You to Hate is now at 253. So he needs 7 more points out of the Carolina defense, and that's just a pick 6 for him to pass G-Val Style now.
Well, Andrew Luck in the rain, would not be shocked if we see a pick 6.
No, these weather conditions you see, you've seen Cam Newton go over to the sideline and ask for a towel multiple times to make sure his hands are dry. The people, it looks early on, the people that went with Stewart for a little bit of a Monday night sweat are going to be paid off already with a touchdown. And that's always good to get a touchdown out of the guy you're sweating like right away. Like second drive, touchdown, get it out of the way, and you've already moved up the board quite a bit.
Yeah, and the concern with Jonathan Stewart is usually that he doesn't get all the looks in the red zone because they've got Cam, who runs the ball a lot, and then they bring in Tolbert a lot. So while he's a guy that is getting a lot of touches, you worry a little bit about his upside just because maybe he's not finding the end zone. And when he gets in there right away, he's probably in line for a pretty big game here because I think the yards will be there.
Yeah, and that's the thing. He's not catching many passes like last week. I think he had 12 or 13. I think he had 13 points, and that was just from the 100 yards he got plus the bonus. So, all right, let's Andrew. We're gonna go to G-Val Style, and we'll be back with you shortly. But if we can get G-Val Style on the line. He's currently in third place with a 260.04. Gus, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, man. How good did that J Stu touchdown feel?
Man, leg strength.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Man strength. He does. He's a big boy. And on the second drive for you to get that touchdown, it moved you up quite a bit.
Hold on, I'm Trevor hearing you. Hold 1 second.
All right.
Okay.
All right, so we're going to take a look at your lineup. Drew Brees, Todd Gurley, McFadden, Tavon Austin, Odell Beckham, Julio Jones, Benjamin Watson, J Stu, and the Texans. I know you're a Texans guy. So did that come into play with the Houston defense?
No, actually, with the Houston defense my thinking was everybody was going with the Rams. That was a popular pick this week. But I feel last week Houston got embarrassed. So I felt they weren't going to do that 2 weeks in a row. And, of course, they were playing at home against a backup quarterback. So I basically thought outside the box, and luckily they gave me 20 points.
Yeah, at home against a backup quarterback, definitely got some points out of there. Tavon Austin was really the guy that I felt did really well for you. 26.9 points is only 6% owned. He's a big play guy. I guess that's why you rostered him.
Yeah, to be honest, Tavon Austin, like every now and then he had a big game. And for some reason I had an itch that this would be the week, him and Gurley. I just felt it, and I was right. I went by instinct. That was basically it for Tavon Austin.
All right, so you knew you were coming in tonight 9 points down. You're currently winning $250,000. Does your family and friends all know that you've got this big sweat going on?
Nope, only a select few. If I win, I'm going to surprise my mother, the kids. I haven't told them nothing yet. I want to keep it surprised. They're going to find out sooner or later. But I'm leaving here with something. I'm leaving here with the big money.
Yeah, you're definitely leaving there with something. Do you have anybody there with you, like any friends?
Yeah. Here's one right here. This is my friend David. If you can see him here. I don't know if I put the thing on my friend David right there.
Okay.
And my friend Clint.
All right.
Clint.
So
these only two came with me.
They're sweating with you. All right. How long have you been playing on DraftKings?
I've been playing on DraftKings over a year.
All right. So
and to be honest, I signed up at 30 minutes before the game started on Sunday.
Okay, so you registered your game 30 minutes before the game started. Uh, I'm
Yes.
I'm not into making predictions when it comes to life-altering events, but I think you might have just changed your life by signing up 30 minutes before the game started.
I know, I know. For people who don't believe you can win, hey, and people who try to end fantasy football, get out of here because you can't win. If I can, anybody can.
Uh,
That's a
one.
bet.
All right, so you need 12 yards right now for Jonathan Stewart, but you also have a team that has Jonathan Stewart and the defense crawling up on you. Are you concerned about that at all?
Yes.
Okay.
No. Cause I think Indy gonna start scoring now. Cause I know the guy. I saw that a while ago. He passed me up. So Indy, no more turnovers. Come on, Andrew Luck, you smarter than that. Now I need y'all to start scoring.
He did go
I
to
need y'all to start scoring. No sacks. I need them to score now. I got to be smart. And
Stanford.
he's from Texas.
Yeah, he is. And he did go to Stanford. However, if he does have the highest interception rate going on right now, so for good reason to be nervous. All right, Gus, we're going to be coming back to you throughout the night, and
Okay.
we'll see. We've had it happen before. I don't want to say that I'm good luck, but we'll see if you end the night with 7 figures in your My Contest page.
Oh man, thank you, man. Y'all will see me.
All right.
Hopefully I'm gonna win. All right.
All right.
Talk to y'all later.
Okay. That's
right.
Gus G-Val Style. Gus lives in Texas there, and is going to. It's going to be interesting to see this team defense because the Colts just. If you look at last week's first half, if they have a whole game like last week's first half, or the game before that, or the game before that, even against the Titans, playing against this Carolina defense, Josh Norman, like this Carolina defense is just out for blood at home in the rain. So for good reason, Gus should be nervous, but at the very least, he's going, like he said, he's going to go home with something. If we can get Andrew back real quick, Andrew Wiggins, one of the DraftKings analysts. Andrew, did you watch the game last night?
I went to bed at halftime.
Okay. I'll be honest. I didn't watch any of the game. I watched NBA last night because I didn't have anybody really playing in the game last night. So if there's not daily fantasy involved, I'm just not that interested. But however, it was pretty clear that the Broncos are back as far as not only is their defense just amazing now, but their offense started clicking yesterday.
Yeah, I thought Peyton looked quite a bit better than the worst quarterback in the league, which I thought he was maybe going into the bye. So maybe worked on some things during the bye, or maybe it was just the rest that helped him out. But he looked considerably better, and if he's going to be able to at least be adequate, I think that team's pretty dangerous, and they were able to run the ball effectively, which was something they weren't able to do going into the bye. So a lot of good signs for their offense, and the defense has looked like the best defense in the league all season. So it'll be interesting when they meet the Patriots. If maybe they're potentially both undefeated, I think it's week 11 or week 12. That'll be hyped up quite a bit.
Yeah. I mean, that's going to be an amazing game if they continue what they did last night. But just seeing the running backs, both Anderson and Hillman, they've got that running back by committee, and they looked really good last night. Both, like if you played in that primetime slate, having them both and having Demaryius Thomas, you're looking good. Demaryius Thomas was just catching all the passes. It was apparent from the first drive they were targeting him. Emmanuel Sanders didn't really do that much, but he didn't really have to. So if they can get a run game going behind this offensive line, then Peyton doesn't have to do as much as what they have had to do in the past.
Yeah, and that was kind of their plan coming into the season. So maybe there was just an adjustment period. And really, like I said, I think it's just a matter of Peyton being like adequate, and then everything else should fall into place because he had been so bad. But to hold, for the defense to hold Aaron Rodgers to 77 passing yards, that's pretty mind-blowing to me. I would never have thought that was possible.
Yeah, like you don't want to say Aaron Rodgers is matchup proof, but you do want to say that he could get over 100 yards versus any sort of defense. So this Broncos defense, I mean, I know a lot of people might say it's hyperbole, but you have to start considering it as far as one of the better defenses that we've seen in a while. They're everywhere. And I think as far as this is Aaron Rodgers' second worst game since 2012, 6.18 fantasy points. In 2013, he had 1.98 fantasy points. If I'm not mistaken, that's the game he got hurt. So that's the game that his backup. Who was it? Oh, man. I think he went to Kansas City after that. His backup came in and just threw for like 400 yards. It might have been a Missouri guy. It might have been
Matt Moore.
I don't know.
It was some name like that. He had that one big game where he went off, and then he got signed backing up, or he got signed to start in Seattle, and then Russ came in and took the job.
That's right. And then I think he went back to Green Bay. So, yeah, that was definitely interesting. So we'll see what's happening right there. A guy, though, that knows a lot of stories. Andrew, we're going to go to NFL analyst. Let's go to Mr. Adam Kaufman. Adam Kaufman is an NFL analyst on CBS and 98.5 The Sports Hub here in Boston. And he's going to hit us with some storylines. Matt, are you there?
Hey guys, how are you?
I'm doing good. Matt, I'll let you take it away with some of the storylines from this past week.
Adam.
I'm sorry,
Okay.
Adam. Sorry,
no
Adam.
problem, David. Hey, Matt's my brother, so you're close.
We were just talking about. Do you know who the backup? I think it might have been Matt Moore. The backup for Aaron Rodgers.
Matt Flynn.
Matt Flynn. Okay.
Yeah, potential future Jet. The way things are shaping up right now.
Yeah, that is the Matt we were referring to. Sorry. We'll get it together. It's raining in Carolina, and the conditions are affecting us. So, Adam Kaufman. Sorry, Adam.
No sweat.
With some of the storylines from the Week 8.
Well, I think there were a whole bunch, obviously. The thing that jumps out at you, among them anyway, of course, the injuries, but we'll get to that in a second. First, the teams that are the remaining unbeatens at this stage of the year. You've got one going tonight, as you talked about, the Carolina Panthers. They should beat the Indianapolis Colts. The Colts not very good. Andrew Luck is reportedly dealing with that fractured rib injury, with the Colts potentially messing with their injury reports, and we'll see if that leads to any sort of significant investigation on the part of the NFL. I would doubt it. Obviously, he has the the shoulder injury as well. So we'll see what happens with the Panthers tonight if they can join the class of 7-0 teams. There are a few. The Patriots, who did not play over the weekend, they last played on Thursday and absolutely manhandled the Miami Dolphins. It wasn't even close. It was, quite frankly, ugly throughout and wasn't a particularly entertaining game. Even if you're a Patriots fan, it wasn't all that entertaining because it just wasn't all that competitive. So they're 7-0 as things stand right now. The AFC East well in hand, as frankly it really is year after year anyhow. The marquee matchup of the week, at least what we expected to be the marquee matchup based on how it should have played out and didn't quite live up to expectation, was the Broncos tilt with the Packers. Two 6-0 teams coming in, and Denver, it's your classic case of defense beats offense. You know, you can always say that old adage is defense wins championships. We're going to find out with this Broncos team coming up as the season moves along, because they had a relatively easy time with the Packers. Aaron Rodgers, you guys were just talking about it, held to a staggering 77 passing yards. I mean, that's unthinkable. Now, Peyton Manning bounced back. He didn't throw for a touchdown, but he threw for 340 yards. He was very good, best game of the year, season high in terms of yards, again, without a score, but he was able to move the chains, get his team up and down the field. And so that was refreshing, I would think, because the guy had looked like he was ready for his AARP card for a good amount of time throughout this year before helping his team to 7-0. Still, this is a team that's going to live and die by its defense. It should anyway as the season moves along. Then, of course, you have the Bengals. Cincinnati, 7-0. I only laugh a little bit because this is a team that I think most people, because coached by Marvin Lewis, led by Andy Dalton, it's just a team you don't trust as soon as the playoffs come along. I don't care if this team winds up going 16-0 during the regular season, which of course won't happen, you're going to have people still picking against them in the first round of the playoffs because, or after the bye in their case, because that's just been what history has set us up for with a Lewis Dalton-led combination. This team finds a way to have a great regular season, basically year after year, only to get to the playoffs and lose. These guys have never, literally never, won a playoff game. So taking a look at these teams and what's realistic going forward, because a lot of people are now debating as we get toward week 9, what's most realistic in terms of which team can stay unbeaten the longest, or maybe even potentially finish 16-0 and challenge 19-0. I think picking up the Bengals where I left off, just their upcoming schedule. Obviously, they survived the Steelers, which they had to rely on 2 Ben Roethlisberger interceptions in that fourth quarter. Andy Dalton didn't play well at all either, but nevertheless, they're able to get past them 16-10. They now have coming up, and the AFC North comfortably in hand with a 4-game lead, but they've got their next 2 games are against the Broncos and unbeaten, obviously, and the Texans. So probably going to lose to Denver, and that streak comes to an end right there. We'll see what happens at that point. But again, they've also got Arizona, not Denver. They've got Arizona coming up. They've got Pittsburgh, a team that I don't think you take lightly based on what we just saw. And then Denver is a little bit later on. The Panthers, if they win tonight, they've got Green Bay next weekend, probably going to lose that. Aaron Rodgers is going to be ticked off after that most recent game. So the Panthers' unbeaten hopes are going to come to an end as well. As far as the Broncos, again, after beating Green Bay in that most recent game yesterday, they have New England coming up a little bit later on, and then Cincinnati a little bit after that in late December. 2 games as well with San Diego, and I know the Chargers are a bad team this year, but for some reason there's just something about Phillip Rivers, Keenan Allen, that offense that always concerns me. I feel like they're capable of surprising Denver at a certain point. And of course, the Patriots, a few big tests. You don't take a meeting with the New York Giants for granted ever, even though the Giants are not particularly good based on those 2 Super Bowls from a few years back. Patriots fans are going to be leery heading into that matchup. And then, of course, Denver, as I said, in a couple of weeks at the end of November. And then later in the year, second to last game of the season at the New York Jets in the Meadowlands. Again, 2 tough New York meetings. Patriots only beat the Jets by a touchdown earlier this year. Generally speaking, though, a mediocre year in the NFL at this point, with 17 teams under 500, 4 at the break-even mark right now. But let's get to injuries. Of course, there were a number of them throughout Week 8, and unfortunately for Carolina and Indianapolis, the week not over yet. But the wild card hopeful Steelers got Ben Roethlisberger back. They end up losing Le'Veon Bell for the season, a torn MCL. You hope D'Angelo Williams can step in, do what he did against the Patriots in that first week of the season, and try and carry the load. But Bell, significant loss. He's accounted for 25% of Pittsburgh's offense throughout this year. And now, big part of that, Roethlisberger going down for a stretch, but it's hard to imagine them holding on and getting into the playoffs as a wild card team, losing Le'Veon Bell for the rest of the year. So tough blow, obviously, for Pittsburgh and Steelers fans. Beyond that, key injuries, but bad teams. You know, the Ravens lost Steve Smith, who he was slated. He said he was planning on playing. This was going to be his final year of his career, and he was going to retire. Now with the torn Achilles, not torn, but the Achilles injury, I don't think that's going to happen. I think in all likelihood he's going to fight through this and work to come back and not go out on that low note. And then Calvin Johnson re-injuring his ankle in the loss to the Chiefs, but Lions are absolutely dreadful, so it almost doesn't matter, unless, of course, teams were thinking maybe trading for Calvin Johnson ahead of tomorrow's NFL trade deadline at 4 o'clock, but I don't know how likely it is Detroit would move him anyway. Jets are an interesting situation because both of their QBs went down in a loss to the Raiders yesterday. Ryan Fitzpatrick, the starter, dealt with a thumb injury in his non-throwing hand, a torn ligament in there. He left the game, wound up coming back toward the very end because Geno Smith, his replacement in his season debut, after missing all that time with a broken jaw, came in and suffered multiple injuries. Just was not good at all. His first 3 drives, 3 and out, 3 and out. and an interception probable. And that'll take us to our next issue here. Again, no Fitzpatrick. He's claiming himself to be day-to-day. We'll see what happens with him going forward. Geno Smith is just not a guy you can trust. I don't think if you're an NFL franchise, you believe in Geno Smith at all. Quite frankly, the Jets probably, IK and Polly, before he was released, probably did them a favor when he knocked him out and effectively gave Ryan Fitzpatrick that job and ended any sort of potential QB controversy. But he said he could probably play next weekend if he had to. We'll see. What we do know, at least based on reports, is that Ryan Mallett is not going to wind up with the Jets. They're not interested in him. I would personally love to see Tim Tebow back there. I don't think it's going to happen, but for Jets entertainment in and of itself, that would be wonderful. Let's get to Tom Brady here to wrap things up. He has been amazing. The Patriots 7-0, we know that. But what Brady has been doing on his, as some people around New England calling it the scorched earth tour after Deflategate and having his reputation taken through the mud. This guy already at this point, just taking a look at some of these numbers. Through 7 games, 2,410 passing yards, 20 touchdowns, and an interception that was not his fault. Julian Edelman dropped the ball into another guy's arm. So he probably shouldn't even have a pick this year. He is on pace for over 5,500 yards. He's only cleared 5,000 once in his career, and that was back in 2011. Then, of course, he is on pace as well for 46 touchdowns. He's gone over 40 one time in his career when he threw 50, half of those to Randy Moss back in 2007, that record-setting year, and just the 2 interceptions. Probably is going to have a couple of more, but what Brady has been able to do at this point, and this Patriots offense in general, leading the NFL in points and top 10 defense on the other side, just to kind of bring us full circle, a team that is a significant Super Bowl contender and a chance of repeating.
All right. So that is Adam Kaufman. Adam, appreciate that. As far as the points, really spot on, and anxious to see what happens this week for sure. As far as some of I feel like the injuries are really the biggest kind of news. Like, have you seen a day like there was yesterday as far as key injuries go?
No, I really haven't. I mean, if you're, following along on Twitter during the games, or obviously watching the games and monitoring your fantasy teams, it honestly, it was one of those days that it felt like every 5 minutes you're getting some sort of breaking alert on Twitter or Rappaport or Schefter or whoever with a story about so-and-so has left the game, questionable return, or so-and-so carted off the field. It looks significant. Or obviously, and I know he's not a marquee player in the league, but even, you see what happened to Ricardo Lockett in that Seattle-Dallas game yesterday, where he's hammered and just goes down lifeless onto the field. Now, fortunately, for the most part, okay, and appeared to be so, even if he was leaving the field, saluting the crowd and everything like that. But significant worry around him. So there were just so many of these injuries to, again, key marquee players that it's a concern, but I think probably a fluky thing as well.
Yeah, as Adam Kaufman, Adam with CBS and one of the DraftKings or one of the NFL analysts. I'm sorry, Adam. Really appreciate you coming on, and we'll see you hopefully next week.
Look forward to it.
All right. So that's 2 weeks that we get Adam Kaufman with us. Hopefully we'll get a third. He'll become a staple of the DraftKings Sweat Show. Let's go right now to Scuba Ranger. Scuba Ranger, let's see where he is currently at. He is currently in ninth place now, and he has Panthers D. Scuba Ranger, are you there?
I'm here.
All right. You could not have asked for a better start to this game.
Yeah, absolutely. This is fantastic.
All right. So, Mike, where are you from?
Branson, Missouri.
All right. Do you sing?
I do not sing.
I didn't know if you did any show tunes. Branson, Missouri. They have it's like little Nashville. All right. So you've got the Panthers D and 14 points right now. You're ninth place, and it's hard to believe that Andrew Luck is healthy. The way he's played, the way that the defense is, like in the rain. How are you feeling right now?
Well, I'm feeling like we're gonna get a sack right now, and it's raining, so somebody's gonna drop a ball, and Maybe a pick six right now. Ooh, close.
Yeah, he sailed it over the receiver, so you almost got it. All right, I heard someone say, "Get it" in the background. So who you got with you?
Oh, I got my whole family here. I got my family and all my friends. Got everybody.
All right. So, like, how many people do you have with you right now?
Oh, there's probably 15 of us.
All right. So, when you started, you knew that basically you were going to start out with 10 points to start the game and immediately climb up. But then 2 turnovers, the first 2 Indy possessions. It's never fun to sweat a team defense.
No.
Almost blocked it.
But I feel in this case, like, you've got to feel good about where you are right now.
Oh, I feel great. Another 10 points and we're at the $1 million.
Yeah, so you got another 10 points that you need. You have someone behind you that has Jonathan Stewart, but still, from where you started to where you're going, even if you get like a top 5, top 3 cash, that's still 6 digits.
Absolutely.
All right. So how long have you been playing on DraftKings?
I've been playing on DraftKings now for a couple of months.
Okay. And
no, we're actually. She just said she'll bring you in.
all right. So does your family, like, did they give you kind of crap for it now? Now that, okay, play as much DraftKings as you want?
No, nobody really gives me crap. My brother does it. My mama says people don't really win, and my brother got me to do it. So now I'm really winning some real money.
So are you going to give your brother any sort of tip or anything if you do win some real money?
Absolutely. I'm gonna tell him bet a little more. Maybe he'll win a little more.
All right. So tell him to play a little more and give him a tip as far as like who to play.
Absolutely.
Do you guys play head to head?
We have, yes.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, he beat me twice, but we're not going to talk about that.
Okay, yeah, we'll only talk about how good you're doing. All right, so you've got the end of the first quarter going up, and it's good that you have all your friends and family because, like I said, sweating team defenses is the worst. But if you can get like a top 5, I feel like if you could get that would mean that you would get 17 points out of your defense. If you got 17 points on your defense, you'd feel pretty good.
Oh, my God, I'd feel great.
All right.
I already feel great.
So that's Mike. That's Scuba Ranger 76. Mike, really appreciate you being on with us, and maybe we'll come back to you later on if there's like a pick 6 or something.
Awesome. I'll be here waiting.
When there is a pick 6. Got it.
Believe you can achieve.
All right. Anything is possible.
You got it.
Oh, we always like people that have their friends and family with them. It makes things a lot better. And I think really when you're sweating, let's see if we can bring back. Sorry, we're going to CGW57. Then we'll go to Andrew Wiggins. So we're going to CGW57. Chuck Warren, Chuck, are you there? All right, there is Chuck. You see him wearing the Drew Brees jersey. So you think that he probably had Drew Brees. Chuck, can you hear us? All right, we'll go back to Chuck. Chuck looks like he's enjoying the game right now and sweating. So we'll go to Andrew Wiggins. And you saw Chuck had some friends and family with him. You also saw before that friends and family. Andrew, you had like a little cheering section for you during the NBA championship in Las Vegas. And like I just remember every Gallinari 3 that he put in, people were going nuts.
Yeah, that maybe make good footage for a commercial possibly.
Oh yeah, it'd be really good. Like if he hit a 3 and then you raised your arms up, like that'd be a really good commercial.
I was talking to my friend's mom about it the other day, and she thought that it was entirely staged, that we had set it up and filmed it. I was like, no, that was real.
She doesn't know how bad of an actor you are.
Yeah, exactly. And I guess she didn't read the real people, not actors, right?
Yeah, exactly. So as far as like having friends though and family with you, it does like not only can you cheer with them, but if things don't go well, as long as they're using proper sweat etiquette, it's okay.
Yeah, I mean most people probably don't have the proper etiquette, but it's still fun to have people over. I try and have people over, much to my wife's dismay. I have a couple guys over every Sunday. Sometimes they come, sometimes they don't, but always more fun watching games with other people.
Do you have a man cave?
Nope, just the living room.
How do you not have like a big basketball man cave? Oh, wow.
You're killing me with the wow.
Sorry.
Again, man, I love that guy. I do have 2 TVs I got set up this year that are on wheels, so I can wheel them out for NFL Sunday.
Okay, like the Haralabob setup, kind of.
Yeah, not as cool as his, but
you got 2 instead of 8. Same thing.
Yeah, and it's like something you would buy for a conference.
We're on mute. Okay, we
Exactly
got
what it is. So probably the only one using
now.
in my home.
All right. Yeah. So I'm sure you watched the NBA games on it. How are your NBA teams doing tonight?
Probably not going to be my night tonight. Well, let's see. I'm trying to remember who I even played, but there were a few guys. I played Isaiah Cannon, who they were actually up like 15 early on Cleveland. And
yeah.
Cleveland's up 10 now with a minute left. He had a really poor game. And Kevin Love, the comeback was all LeBron. So LeBron nearly triple-doubled. Love didn't really do anything. Karl Anthony Towns, who's really heavily owned tonight, is doing nothing. And other than that, I'm okay.
We saw Kevin Love just go absolutely nuts. And as far as I think it was Friday night's game. But now, do you really think that he does more this year than what he did last year?
Yeah, I think part of it was just him not being comfortable there. And, of course, right now Kyrie's hurt until about Christmas time. So that's just an opportunity for him to step up. And he's looked really good. So I expect him to continue to play well. And my biggest concern tonight was the spread, that they would blow him out. If you had told me that it was going to be a game where, a competitive game to the end, I would have thought for sure Love would have been north of 40. But here he is sitting at 27. So,
All right, talking a little bit of NBA people, Andrew, that are NBA or NFL guys. Like, what would you say to them to get them to play NBA? Because I feel like it's almost something that they need to experience so that they get hooked on it. Because if they do play it, they will get hooked. I was an anti-NBA guy 4 years ago, and was a purist. I was a basketball coach, and I did not like the NBA, like most high school basketball coaches at that time, and I love college basketball. But as far as the atmosphere and everything, and then I tried DFS, and that has changed my world. So what would you say to someone who is only a fantasy football guy?
Well, I think you got it at the right time, too, because the NBA has been trending up. A lot of people, after the Jordan era, there was that era of selfish ball with the AI and all those guys. And so people kind of got turned off to the NBA, I think, and they still think that it's the same way, but it's not. It's a lot of run and gun, fast-paced games now with a bunch of really, really exciting young players like Steph Curry, Anthony Davis. The NBA almost couldn't be in a better spot as far as being exciting and putting out a good product. And then you combine that with playing DFS, it just makes everything more exciting. The plays count more. You're more involved in the game, all that stuff. And in fact, it's every day. And then I just really like the steady scoring. It's not where football are kind of waiting around for those big plays. Your guys involved, especially the superstars. Like I played Kevin Durant tonight. Super high-paced game, a lot of scoring. And it's just fun watching them score consistently throughout the night.
Yeah, and again, I feel like they need to watch your tutorial videos and just find a little bit of strategy and then experience it for themselves. Let's go right now to GJS, Chuck Warren. Chuck wearing the Drew Brees jersey. Chuck, are you there?
Yeah.
Chuck, have you played NBA Daily Fantasy?
Have you?
No, yeah, once or twice.
You're gonna have to play more if you keep on getting points though tonight. Tell us a little bit about your lineup.
I'm a diehard Saints fan, man.
Okay. So you being a diehard Saints fan meant that you played all the Saints.
I played Watson, Cooks, and Breeze throwing 7 TDs really helped.
Yeah, Breeze, 500 yards, all those touchdowns, just absolutely went insane. I know had to help you quite a bit. So as you've seen your points trend up to start the night, what position were you in?
133rd, I believe.
Okay, and that was about $1,500 if I'm not mistaken.
Right.
Okay, and now you're in 46th place.
Nice.
And you're going to probably in this reign continue to get Jonathan Stewart points.
I hope so. Run the ball.
All right. So you've got your family there with you. Do you live in New Orleans?
Nah, I'm from New Orleans, but I'm out in California now.
Okay. So as far as your family goes, what have they been saying about all this?
Oh, they're loving it. They thought I was nuts getting on there at first, but now they're loving it.
So I'm guessing they'll give you a little more research time in the upcoming weeks. Yeah, if you do anything as far as if you win anything, have they already spoken for
You need him.
when you win something? Had they already spoken for what you're going to win?
We've been saving up for a while for a down payment on a house. This should come in handy.
Okay, very nice. And if you live in California, houses aren't exactly cheap.
No, sir.
All right. So you're currently in 45th place. And I really think that, especially if you get to the 100-yard mark, if they keep on feeding Jay Stu, you get 3 extra points. And those 3 extra points could come in big once you factor in all the other points. So, all right. So as far as like the overall mood, though, do you have is that just your family with you?
Yeah, friends and family.
Okay. How many people do you have there total?
There's 6.5. I got a 2-year-old grandson running around.
Very nice. Well, Chuck, we'll check back in with you as the night goes on, and hopefully for you as Jonathan Stewart continues to rack up points.
I hear you, man. Thanks a lot.
Awesome. So that is Chuck. Chuck from California, and just looking at his lineup, you did get 3 points from Indy, and that sent some of these team defenses down. And so you lose that shutout bonus, which we kind of knew was going to happen. It's going to come down to basically some pick sixes for some of these teams with team defenses to win. So we'll see. We'll see if that comes into play. But we do have the guy who, if there is a pick six, if there are some more defensive points, he might be the favorite over G-Foul Style. He just needs those points. That's just for you to hate. And he's at 251.94, but he has 2 players left. He's got Jonathan Stewart and the Panthers D. So he's 11 points back, but he's got 2 players, and he really needs Panthers D to pass G-Val Style, and then he's got him blocked. So, Mark, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
All right, Mark, tell us a little bit about yourself.
From Toronto. I've been playing DraftKings for quite a while now.
All right. So you've been playing DraftKings. I'm going to go on a limb and say this is probably your biggest sweat so far.
By far.
Okay. You are currently in 12th place. You have to like how the game script is going. We did see a field goal from Indy that kind of lost you, I think, 3 points, but still the way that the Panthers D, the conditions, Jonathan Stewart being the workhorse back, you have to like the way the game's been going so far.
Oh, yeah, it's going perfectly, and I love the rain.
Yes. All right. So have you told anybody that you were going to be like sweating this game tonight?
My wife.
Okay. So just your wife knows that
Yes.
this is a game that you'd be sweating.
Yes, and whoever's going to be watching, I guess.
All right. Let's talk now about your name, Just For You to Hate. Is that some trash talk going on? Is that what I'm seeing, Mark?
A little bit.
Okay, so like you're saying like all the other daily fantasy players, you just want us to hate you, basically.
Yes.
Okay.
Especially if I win.
All right. So you've got quite a number of teams in. How much research do you do on a given slate per week?
I do quite a bit. Starting from as soon as Sunday's finished, Monday games are finished, I start doing my research, seeing how people did last week and see how they compare to other teams.
Okay. And do you play like every slate possible?
Yes.
Okay. So you played the primetime slate, the Monday, Thursday slate, the Thursday slate.
Oh, yes, all of them.
Early Sunday. And what does your family say about this?
The wife would like me to do more things around the house, but I'm sure if I win the million, she won't complain.
Yeah, I bet. I bet winning the million would get her off your back as far as house. Like you could just hire someone to come in and do some chores to give you some research time. Maybe even write off as a business expense. All right. As far as how this goes tonight, did you kind of go in tonight with thinking this is how like I would want to go realistically? Like, yes, best case scenario would be $1 million, but did you also have like what you would have been satisfied with going into tonight?
Top 3.
Okay. So top 3 finish, $250,000 or more, you were going to be satisfied with.
Yes.
All right. So setting the expectations high, but it looks like in 12th place, if you get some more sacks, I think really what you need is a defensive touchdown.
Oh, yeah.
Because then you would have GVAL style blocked.
Yes.
With that, and that would put you in charge for the million. So as these conditions go on, you might get it. We're going to come back to you throughout the night, probably see how things are. But man, this field's pretty nasty. So you might even get a couple pick sixes tonight. Who knows?
I hope so.
All right. That's Mark just for you to hate. And he's currently in 12th place, 52.14. So appreciate him coming on. Let's move back to Andrew Wiggins. And Andrew, this game is just flat out nasty. Like, did you know that the weather was going to be this bad when you did your research?
I don't think they were predicting this yesterday morning.
No, I didn't.
On Saturday. So, no, I didn't anticipate there being a weather issue.
And not just like weather issue, but like monsoon conditions. This is exactly what the people like. Most of the people that we're going to have on tonight have either Jay Stu or Panthers defense. I think we did have a Jay Stu fumble, which is going to maybe put the Panthers D in a little bit of a tough spot, and a personal foul after that. So that's not what you want to see after a fumble in your own territory is a personal foul. But who knows? Like, I guess with 8 minutes left, this game's going by really slow. I guess that maybe some like if the Colts do well, we might start seeing some teams creep up that have not luck, because I don't think anyone other than Breeze or Eli are going to be on there, but maybe like a Moncrief team or maybe Frank Gore. I don't know. But if there's one player, TY, if there's one player, you might see it.
Yeah, I don't think those guys were on much. Almost.
I didn't spoil it for you.
There's probably not much out there with those guys. I think most people knew it was a bad spot for the Colts and stayed away, but you never know. Moncrief was pretty reasonably priced, so he could be hanging out there.
Yeah. Did you think that Andrew Luck was healthy at all?
I think it's been pretty clear that he hasn't been healthy for at least the last few weeks. Really, since he came back from missing those games, he just hasn't quite been himself. I think that when he played the game against the Patriots, I thought maybe he was getting healthier and he was approaching like 85 or 90% was what I was thinking at the time. But he just hasn't been right. So you really got to just peg it to an injury, especially since you know that he missed a few weeks. And if you go back to when he was out, there was talk that it was worse than they were letting on. And they kind of play games, the Colts. Now there's a report coming out that maybe he has broken ribs, but then other people are saying no, he doesn't. It's like you just don't really know. And people are saying back then that, well, hey, maybe this is going to linger the whole season. And it looks like that might be the case. So as far as DFS goes, he's a guy that's kind of on my do not draft list for the foreseeable future.
Yeah, and you saw like one of their best performances is with Hasselbeck. But this Panthers D is they're not playing around. So
no, they're a really good defense, and the team total for the Colts was I think just over 19. I didn't check and see if it updated with the weather and stuff, but yeah, it looked like a spot where the Panthers were the D was in a good spot, and just stay away from the Colts.
Yeah, so this as far as like just all field goals right now and that one touchdown, but I'll be interested in seeing how this weather kind of affects the outcome of the game. Like even bonuses for Jay Stu, like we're talking about like 3 or 4 yards a carry, and that's it. Like if this game and this weather persists, I don't see it being something that you're going to see like big plays unless people slip.
Yeah, and he's only at 24 yards right now. So, yeah. I mean, Luck is thrown for 24 yards. Cam's thrown for 20. The Colts have rushed for 54, and then 49 rushing yards for the Panthers. So he's just not a lot of movement out there.
Yeah, definitely. Let's look at the NFL top value plays. Give me a guess for one of the top value plays this week.
My main man, Malcolm Floyd.
Malcolm Floyd at number 6, 3,500. There is a team that has tonight, or that is on, I think, a qualifier team that had Malcolm Floyd, which I guess it made sense if you thought anything can happen. But if you thought Gates was playing, you probably weren't playing him because you had Stevie Johnson, this guy, if you played Floyd, you got kind of lucky because Stevie Johnson got hurt. Ladarius Green got hurt, and he caught all the long passes.
I didn't consider him, but in hindsight, I think he was a pretty sharp tournament play. It was safe to say that no one was going to own him. With Nate Washington, $100 more. Michael Floyd, the Floyd brother, being $100 less. Or no, he was the same price.
Same price, yeah.
Yeah, so it's like you knew people were going to be playing those guys if they were going cheap. And the Ravens are very susceptible to the deep ball, which is Malcolm Floyd's specialty. And you knew that Gates was banged up, maybe not going to go. Like I can see the play, and I think it was a pretty nice tournament play because he was, 0.7% owned or something like that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I like it a lot, even though I didn't think of it.
Malcolm Floyd number 6, Michael Floyd number 7. I thought you were going to list the 2 top tight ends. 3 of the top 4 value plays were tight ends: Jacob Tamme, Benjamin Watson, Marcus Colston, Heath Miller, and then Drew Brees number 5. So having a quarterback in the top value plays at number 5.
That's incredible.
The Benjamin Watson Drew Brees combo obviously went off. Marcus Colt, like having 3 of the top 5 guys also be guys from New Orleans. Heath Miller, I thought was interesting. I'm surprised you didn't mention him in the matchups breakdown because I think as a team they said they wanted to get him more involved. I
think when we were doing the matchups, everyone, and this was kind of a mistake, especially with what ended up playing out. But I think we were all kind of locked in on Ladarius Green, just assuming that Gates wasn't going to go, and Green seemed like a layup play. So I wasn't maybe giving tight end as much thought as I should have this week. And then when it came out Sunday morning, the Gates was going, then it left me scramble a little bit. But Heath Miller, I mean, when Ben's out there, he's just a different player. His averages are way up, and that game didn't play out exactly like I thought it would. Just I think Bell going down and Ben got hit early and was limping around on the sidelines, and I think it affected him the rest of the game. He just wasn't quite moving that well, and I think he just went to a safety valve and Heath Miller, and he ended up with like 10 for 120 or something like that.
Yeah, he did. And you also had the Texans, who were number 9 on the value list. Rams D, 46% owned, and they didn't do bad with 12 points, but they were expensive. And so you saw the basically as far as the defenses go, number two, the Texans, obviously we just talked about, but Buccaneers. The guy in second place had the Bucks defense against the Falcons, but maybe that was just a price point play at 2,300. Raiders ended up being okay. The guy in fifth place had the Raiders, and I think either fourth or sixth had the Titans defense even. So
yeah, there's so much variance with the output from defenses that even when a defense is in an absolute great spot like the Rams, and I didn't consider anyone else for cash games other than the Rams, but in tournaments when they're going to be 50% owned, it's almost an auto fade really when it's a defense, because there's just so many things that can happen. And like even in that game, they scored 12 points, which was great, but the 49ers got down there, and there was once at the end of the game where they were close and they ended up going for it on fourth down, like fourth and goal, because they needed a touchdown. Even if they score there, that knocks them way down. And you just never know what's going to happen. And like the Texans, at least we're going up against Mettenberger, and they were at home, and you just don't know. And if you take one to the house, or two to the house, which can happen to any team really in the NFL, you can jump so many people in tournaments. So be careful when there's those really chalky defensive plays not to get too overloaded on them.
Oh man, we just saw Olsen drop a wide open, or not touchdown, but just a wide open pass. Olsen doesn't drop passes. That just kind of goes to show you this weather is not being friendly right now. The Clone had the Titans, and the Titans got the Titans just did not look good on offense. Didn't let up a lot of points on defense. Number 4, but if the Clone goes Buccaneers over Titans, he's currently leading the million. But you also have you talked about it being a good play to pivot with Malcolm Floyd. Maybe the Texans defense is another team I overlooked as far as in the same price range as the Rams and 8 points higher.
Yeah, you're too busy out there touting Mettenberger.
No, that did not happen. I went all Andy Dalton on DraftKings.
All right. I heard some chatter out there.
So that did not Mettenberger did not happen on DraftKings. I really wish I played Alex Smith in early slates, and it was glorious. So as far as that was basically the only quarterback play I got right on the day.
Yeah, really the best game of his life, probably.
Yeah. All right. So right now we've got Mr. John Firestone, I think his name will go to him. He has Stewart and Panthers D and is in 37th place. Are you there, John?
I am. Can you hear me?
I can. So how are you feeling about tonight?
Well, I was feeling better until the midway through that second quarter.
The conditions are pretty bad.
They are pretty bad. I thought that would favor the D, but it seems like it's hurting Stewart too, which is a bummer.
Yeah, you kind of hope that they just go on the ground game and he has 30 carries and gets that 100-yard bonus, and they keep on intercepting or sacking Andrew Luck. But you're in 39th place.
Exactly,
and,
yeah.
You knew that you might move up. It does seem like the first quarter went exactly how you wanted it to. Exactly,
yeah. It went perfect. I couldn't believe the first few possessions for the Colts went perfectly for what I was hoping for. And, Stewart running in that touchdown was a nice surprise. I thought they might go with Tolbert or keep it with Cam.
Yeah, he's not really a touchdown guy, and this happens he's just not getting the yards. Like last week, he did get the 100-yard bonus against the Eagles, so you thought it might be just kind of a foregone conclusion that he would get it tonight. But did you know that this rain was going to be like it was?
I didn't until late this afternoon, and I was looking at it and starting to think, hoping that would help my cause based on the defense, but also, you never know. That could also mean fumbles and missed opportunities. And so that seems like it's kind of taken both right now.
Yeah. You have, as far as when you started, do you have like a particular, cause I think you're blocked as far as you can't win the million, but you can climb up. really high. Do you have like a number in mind, like top 10, top 5 that you like to finish?
I was hoping for top. Like the way the night started, I was thinking top 5 was a possibility. I know the top 2. I know that would take a miracle to get into 2. So I'm just hoping top 5 would be amazing. Obviously,
Yeah, 5th place is $100,000, but 10th place not bad either, $40K.
No, not bad at all. Yeah.
Have you told anybody about that you are watching this game and kind of sweating?
Yeah, my family is all in the living room right now, and a lot of people are sitting around watching and stuff. And
okay, so do they know the proper etiquette as far as like how to cheer with you?
Yeah, they do mostly. My brother plays quite a bit, so he knows exactly what to do.
Oh, we got another. Someone earlier said that they played. Their brother actually introduced them to DraftKings, and they play head to head. Do you play head to head with your brother as well?
I don't do head to head really. I like the tournaments. It's more exciting for me.
Okay.
This week is probably the least amount of time I ever put into it, and it's looking like the best I've done in terms of a big tournament finish.
Okay, well,
just
you
keep my fingers
have
crossed and hope some things turn my way.
So basically, you're overthinking it, is what you're saying. All right.
I have really bad Wi-Fi.
It's okay. It's okay. That's John Firestone. John will hopefully come back to you throughout the night as we get some J-Stu and Panthers D points. So best of luck as you're cheering with your friends. All right, so let's take a little bit of a break. We talked a little bit about NBA with Andrew Wiggins earlier. And so we've got a couple of videos to show you with the NBA. We'll be right back after this to sweat more Panthers D and more J-Stu. That is the theme of tonight. The Week 8 Sweat Show continues after this.
DraftKings. I'm a DK analyst here to bring you the latest installment of NBA Training Camp. And we'll be talking about my favorite sport, the NBA. So the first thing you want to consider when sitting down to make a DraftKings lineup is the minutes the players are going to be playing that night. Because of course, if a player isn't on the court, he's not going to be able to get you any fantasy points. So on a day-to-day basis, injuries are the thing that will impact the minutes the most. So if a player gets hurt, that can impact both players that haven't been playing that can get inserted into the starting lineup or even as an expanded bench role. Or for players that have already been on the court, they might have an expanded role where they take on more of the scoring burden, or they may be playing more minutes as well. So the best place to check, to get a good idea of what the injury situation like, is Twitter. You can search a player's name and get a bunch of great results from beat writers and other people that are in the know. And you can also just check out basic NBA resources to figure out maybe there's some guys that you weren't considering that could potentially be out that night and open up value for other players. You can often find players that are really underpriced on DraftKings because they're priced for that bench role and they've now been inserted into a role with a lot more playing time or responsibility. The other thing to consider when you're looking at minutes is the rotation that the coach is using. There's a lot of ebb and flow in the NBA, and a player that's playing a lot of minutes early in the season might not have that same role later on. So the thing that I like to do when I'm considering that is I'll look at the last 3 to 5 games to get a good idea of how the coach is handling his players at that given time. And if you see that a player's been playing a lot in recent games, as long as nothing else has changed as far as injuries or anything else, you can feel pretty comfortable he's probably going to be playing a lot of minutes that night. The last thing I want to talk to you about is roster construction. And what I mean by that is where you're placing the players in your lineup based on what time they play. Because on DraftKings, there's a late swap option. And what that means is that until your player's game starts, you can sub him out for other players who also haven't started playing. In the NBA, there's always things changing, so you want to give yourself the most opportunity in case maybe one of your players isn't playing, or possibly there's another injury for a player that you weren't even considering that either now opens up the ability for value there and the potential to upgrade another one of your players. And by placing your players that are playing latest in the flex, you're giving yourself the most opportunity to make those changes and in the best position to win. So make sure you're checking in with DKTV and DraftKings Playbook throughout the season. We're going to be bringing you a lot of great information to help you win. And good luck this season. Thank you for watching.
Explosive scoring, swift rises up the leaderboard. Champions are made in minutes playing daily fantasy basketball on DraftKings. If you're ready to school the competition, it's time to tip off. Build the ultimate fantasy lineup by balancing the big salary stars with diamond in the rough prospects. Decipher the studs from the duds with DraftKings player cards. All the stats you need to make the right call are at your fingertips. Check out the 10-game log to see who's heating up and who's ice cold. When you're set, click submit and watch your handcrafted lineup rack up points. Just don't blink. Track your lineup on the couch or on the go. Talk trash, win cash, and bask in your own drafting genius, all in a day's work. Daily fantasy sports glory. Make it your reality. Explosive sport. Daily fantasy basketball on DraftKings. If you're ready to school the competition.
All right, so we're on. That was the NBA break. Let's see if we can get Andrew Wiggins back on. Andrew, are you there?
I'm here.
We did the little Andrew Wiggins sign. I don't know where that came from week 2, but we did the bird sign. Yep, that's it. The bird sign for you. Get him back on the show. 2 minutes left in the half.
Oh, there's football going on? Because I just turned on basketball.
Telling you what, as far as the basketball goes, it's nice having games, not just, okay, so I played Andy Dalton, Le'Veon Bell, and Mike Evans in my cash games on DraftKings. It was nice just playing NBA last night. Like, all I had to do was play NBA to get over it. I didn't have to wait until Thursday. I didn't have to enter late contest, because we call it. Like, I didn't have to late enter the prime time slate. I just had to play NBA, and it eased my mind, and I went to bed happier than what I was hours earlier. I joked on Twitter that I was taking my frustrations out. Like, I just was a very bitter person yesterday because of all these injuries. I joked that I was like playing with my daughter's toys. Oh, you're playing with a toy. Can I see that? And just like crushed it to pieces. Like, now you know how daddy felt 6 hours ago. Now you know how daddy's felt this whole day. So, yeah, that's a good thing, though. November 1st was yesterday. And not only is the start of No Shave November, you can see I started a little early because I need all the head start I can get. It gets a little, I don't know, just like in the middle of the month, I stop feeling like a man because I can't really grow facial hair. I know you know what I'm talking about.
Oh, yeah.
So, but then you have also just that's the best sport, is the best month for DFS. College football, here's what I did. I played Thursday night games with the Patriots, and then Friday night NBA, and then Saturday college football, and then Sunday NFL, and then NBA, and then NBA today. Like, I don't know. It just, November is the best. It seems like my best months for DFS are always November and always February. For some reason, those two are my best months. But if I could just have every month be November for daily fantasy, I would.
I like December because I think it's tough at the beginning of the NBA season. So I'd like to get a month under my belt just to understand what the heck's going on. And I don't play college football, so I don't care if that's gone for December. But it's still good.
Yeah. I feel like November is like the best month, though. But after, okay, Andrew, what do you say in December? You just like crushed NBA opening night.
I don't think I've gotten you get those you just won emails from DraftKings. I think since then I get that email, but then I click on my account and I won $9.
Well, you won enough. Like, I am not going to lie. I saw the high scoring games, and then I saw like you with all these minutes left in these contests. And I just knew, like, Andrew's going to win everything. And sure enough, you won everything for NBA that night. Like, I just, for 1 second, I wish I could be Andrew Wiggins.
It was a fun night. With those nights when you know that you're going to do really well in the tournaments, kind of well in advance, and then things just keep clicking like you expect them to. Those are a lot of fun, and that was one of those nights. So you're always just kind of chasing those, and I hope I have a few more like that.
Yeah, we've got a long season, though. As far as like the matchups breakdown, like how do you think your picks went for this week?
Well, I mean, I thought the guy that I liked the most this week was probably Le'Veon Bell, so that one didn't go so well. It's like they asked me before we came on and trying to remember the guys that took a heavy stand. I don't think I really took a heavy stand on anyone this week, but now it's all just jumbled in my mind trying to mix NBA and NFL. It's like doing that show feels like it was months ago and it was really just a few days ago.
Yeah, and I think Andy Dalton as like the guy who we thought was a no-brainer this week.
Yeah, he was just too cheap on
at $6K. Yeah.
Yeah, he was just too cheap. And there were a couple other cheap quarterbacks that I liked, Fitzpatrick and Cutler. And Cutler ended up having a pretty good game. And I think Fitzpatrick would have had a good game because Geno Smith ended up throwing 2 touchdowns, about 250 yards. So you have to think that Fitz would have done better. So that was frustrating there. But I thought on DraftKings this week it was better to spend on the running backs and the receivers. And yeah, we all know that worked out.
I was there with you. So we had I had Freeman, Gurley, and Bell in my lineup. So.
Yeah, and I really liked Antonio Brown. And I think we already talked about it a little bit, but just Bell going down and then Ben getting hit, I think that just kind of mixed up the whole offense and they never really got flowing. And Brown still had 11 targets, but I think he only caught 5 maybe for 45 yards.
Yeah, and that game was just it was like the opposite of the game in New Orleans.
But if you watch the first drive before Ben got hit and obviously when Bell was still in, they moved right down the field. And that was when Brown caught the touchdown. So I thought, hey, this is going to be good because I got a lot of Brown and a lot of Bell. And it was all downhill from there.
All right. So you see the Panthers now. Oh, man, I think there's a flag on that play. Pretty significant play. They went for it on 4th down. So we'll have to see what that is. I think it's a hold. And if that's the case, that wipes out Cam getting down to the 5-yard line. And that means that they have to punt. So, yikes, that's not good. Let's go to Gus. Gus, currently in, let's see what place Gus is in. 4th. Gus is in 4th. He needs as much J-Stu as possible. Gus, what's happened to Jonathan Stewart?
Man, the weather. He fumbled the ball. I was in 2nd place.
Yeah.
They dropped from 500,000, I think, down to 100,000. But I think he go pull through. The game is still close. And Carolina get the ball back first in the second half. So hopefully we can start being predictable and start running the ball on 1st down and just start switching the plays up to give them more room because Carolina is stacking the line.
Yeah. I mean, it's just really gross out there. So you think that they're probably going to run the ball in the second half. They're going to be up. And so really, Jonathan Stewart just needs to not fumble.
Yes. It kind of hurt me a while ago. The fumble hurt me.
Yeah. That was a $400,000 fumble, but I think you'll be able to get it back.
Hopefully.
I hope so.
I think I am.
All right, Gus, like you had so much confidence earlier. I want you to have that. I want to get your swag back. Like we need some J-Stu immediately to start the second half so that you can get your swag back.
Oh, it's coming back. I got faith. I got faith in him. It's coming back.
All right, that's
when I saw it yesterday.
Yeah.
When I saw it yesterday, after the Green Bay Denver game, I was still at number 10, and I looked at everybody else in the standings. I said, I'm going to win this thing. I got confident.
How long did you look at the standings?
All night.
Okay.
I probably didn't go to sleep till like 3 in the morning.
Oh.
So I was looking at people behind me. I was seeing how many people had players behind me. You got to be thinking like who they play. So I was looking at it all night. After I seen the people behind me, like the next person, like 57, that had players playing tonight, I said, this got to be mine. I got to win it.
All right. Well, Gus, we're gonna check back in with you in the second half when the Panthers get the ball back, and when we do, we want to see your face. We got to have you get your phone. Yeah, like we need to get you like a phone cameraman with all the money you're gonna win.
Oh, okay, yeah, because this phone regular.
There we go.
Y'all can see me now.
Yeah, it's better. So we'll get you. We'll get you to hold the phone up.
I apologize. It's my
Not a
fault.
problem.
I've
Not a
been looking
problem.
at the TV. All right.
Not a problem. All right, we'll come back to Gus. Gus, is it true they call you G-Star?
Yep.
All right. I see you, Gus.
My name Gustavius, but Gus for short. So
Yeah. Gustavius. My name was actually David Tavius, but I call myself David.
I know this, right? But hey, let's go, Jonathan Stewart. Let's go,
All
Jonathan
right.
Stewart.
Let's
Okay.
go, Jay. Yeah, his name is Jay Stew. That's what we want. We want some Jay Stew.
I know, but I need the money. I need the money.
All right.
All right.
You're gonna be making. Yeah, we have plenty of money in the second half. Don't you worry.
Okay. All right.
All right. So we'll come back to Gus in the second half. Let's see if we can go to Andrew Wiggins, and then we might, if Andrew's still on, we also might be able to get Jeff Ulrich on the line. Andrew, are you there?
Yeah, I personally like that camera angle. It was the halo over the head there.
Yeah, we couldn't see. Definitely like the second angle. So as far as your angle, it's right on.
Well,
Looking good.
I got the professional. They made me change it up this week. They said I've been coming down at too much of an angle, so I got some nice professional instruction, and we're good to go now.
Yeah, like you did that video. The video looked great, and you weren't like looking up. It always, when we were talking like on the shows, it always seemed like we were using your security cam.
Yeah, well, it's been fixed.
Let's see if we can get our buddy Jeff Ulrich. No, not Jeff Ulrich. So we'll come to him a little bit later. We do need to tell people, though, send your touchdown celebrations to DraftKings. Use hashtag DKTV. Andrew, we also have some Sweat Show questions. So we have at Mr_Malmanger. It says, am I alone in drilling over Amari Cooper, David Carr stack for next week? Have you looked at all as far as games next week?
They play Pittsburgh, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, they're on the road. Their team total probably won't be super high, but I think it's a pretty good spot. Amari has been incredible, and he had a really tough matchup this week being covered by Revis. So not surprised that he struggled a little bit. I think he came in maybe like 5 for 50 or something along there. But that whole offense, man, it's really good. So I think they're good tournament stacks. I think they kind of go overlooked a lot of the time for whatever reason. Maybe because Cooper's price is a little bit elevated, kind of up there with some of the bigger names, and people go that direction. But I'm a big fan of Amari Cooper.
All right, yeah, we'll bring Jeff on in a second. While we're bringing him on, thoughts on stacking 2 wide receivers from the same team? It worked if you had Snead Cooks or Beckham and Harris this week. How often does it work? And Andrew, again, I know we harp on this, but I feel like it's something where people like to think they like to pigeon themselves into one strategy and realize, like, we talked at the beginning of the season that, in fact, you might even brought this point up that we might not see a double handcuff work because there are so many teams, but anything can happen on any given week where there are so many different strategies that if you hit on a specific strategy, you get it. Like, I don't know if you can rule out like any viable strategies that have won a tournament in the past 2 or 3 years.
Yeah, I think it's fine, and it's a way to get a little bit of differentiation with the stack because most people are just moving one receiver and a quarterback. I try and limit it to quarterbacks that I think are capable of throwing 4 or more touchdowns, because what I'd like is the possibility really that 2 receivers catch 2 touchdowns from the same quarterback, and if that were to happen, you're probably in really good shape. And really this week, it was kind of interesting with the New Orleans guys because a bunch of them caught 2 touchdowns, or at least Snead and Cooks. Did Watson catch 2? Either way, the Snead and Cooks, like, they had 2 touchdowns, but I don't think either of them hit 100 yards, so they didn't have monster games. Usually if a guy has 2 touchdowns, he has 100 yards.
Right.
So kind of interesting there. But we saw it a lot in the past with Peyton Manning when that offense was really humming, that he would throw 2 touchdowns and maybe Manny or Julius and Demarius, and like they'd get 100 yards. And so you can definitely win big tournaments with that. Just try and I try and make sure it's a quarterback that I think has a lead upside. Like, you probably wouldn't want to do it with like Alex Smith and Kelsey and Macklin because you're ecstatic if he throws 2 touchdowns,
Yeah, Kelsey did catch a touchdown actually.
Well, they both caught a touchdown, but
Yeah.
You wouldn't have even won a 100-man tournament with those guys, Brees notwithstanding, because that's kind of like I almost prefer without Smith doing that in a cash game, because like those guys, you're just never going to get 2 monster games from receivers without Smith throwing the ball.
No, he and he like surpassed his rushing high in the first half already. Those London games have been just weird. I don't know like how to segue from weird to Jeff Ulrich, but I'm going to anyways. Jeff, are you there?
Yeah, that was awesome. Good segue.
Jeff, we're talking about just this week the matchups. You nailed the AJ Green pick in the matchups breakdown.
Yeah, I liked AJ Green a lot this week. He had a good matchup against Pittsburgh. He killed him last year, and it just seemed like the game that they were going to go back to him. He'd been quiet for a couple weeks, so it kind of made sense. I used a lot of AJ Green. Unfortunately, like you guys, I used a lot of Le'Veon Bell too with AJ Green. So that was my stack in the game. I was going after Lev Bell and AJ Green, and one of them worked and the other didn't. But yeah, it was a good matchup. The Cincinnati offense is kind of interesting. They have so many weapons that they're almost like the Patriots now, where I think they almost game plan week to week because they can go to so many places. So you sort of have to watch the matchups, I think, there with Cincinnati going forward.
Yeah, and even with that game, you had Jeremy Hill like go off at the beginning. Like Gio didn't do anything. So it's always nice when you have 4 guys on offense, 4 skilled players that can do something. But it doesn't matter what they were planning. Like Andy Dalton was terrible to start the game, terrible most of the game. So regardless of that, he was bad. We just had a question about Amari Cooper, but you also had Crabtree as a guy to like target in cash games, and Crabtree just has silently been sneaking up into like just a guy that you can depend on every week.
Yeah, he's playing really well this year. Looks like he just looks motivated in Oakland. He just looks like he was not enjoying himself in San Francisco. He's a big yards after the catch guy too. So the reason I like Crabtree though was just the matchup too. The Jets have Revis, but the rest of their secondary, they've just been letting some secondary wide receivers go, like Dante Moncrief and stuff like that. So I just thought it was a good matchup. I really like Derek Carr this year too. He's really just looked like he's improved. Leaps and bounds. He's throwing downfield more. His yards per attempt is way up, and he just looks like a better quarterback. So with Crabtree playing better, I just thought it was a really good matchup because I knew Oakland was going to be able to move the ball a bit, and I thought Crabtree would be their best option. So, and he was cheap too. Like he was really good value. He's only $4,700. So.
Okay, we talked about 2 of your good picks. Let's talk about.
Yeah. We got to talk about Green Bay defense.
Yeah, let's talk about your Broncos going against the Green Bay defense. To be fair, though, I don't think a lot of people saw the Broncos defense just all of a sudden figuring it out, or Broncos offense rather, all of a sudden figuring it out this week.
Yeah, and I think it wasn't so much. I know, like the media's building up. Oh, Peyton Manning, and he's like back, and he's figured it out. It was really just they found the run game. Like Ronnie Hillman's been playing well. C.J. Anderson had a big game too. They ran through the Packers, and the Packers have they've played pretty well against the run in certain games, but they've also been gashed a couple times. Like the Bears, Matt Forte ran over them in week 1. So that's really good for the Broncos offense going forward. If they can keep that run game up with their defense, like they're going to be a tough out. So yeah, it shocked me a bit. I mean, I really thought the Packers would get to Peyton, but they, with Denver running it so well, he was just in better spots and they couldn't get to him. So yeah. And then the Denver D is just unreal at this point. It's a must play every week pretty much. Yeah.
Do you think that this Denver D should be considered like as far as top defenses now that we've seen in the past like 5 to 10 years?
Yeah, I mean, I have them on par with like Seattle from 2 years ago. Basically, that's how dominant they are right now. And if you look at them top to bottom, they're just as athletic. They have a pass rush. They have 2 shutdown corners. Their linebackers are fast. Like it's just so athletic. So. Yeah, I mean, if people are still, I don't know why people are still even saying like doubting them at any point. They're definitely the top defense in the league at this point, and they're on par for me with anyone in the past like 5 or 10 years for sure.
Yeah, and Andrew was talking about the game coming up with the Patriots. Or maybe that wasn't Andrew. Maybe that was Adam Kaufman. One of those two guys. We're talking about that game coming up. If they both continue just to dominate, might be a preview of what we see in the playoffs.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the Patriots and the Broncos look like. Well, you also have to think about the Bengals, I guess, in there too. But I'm not sure if the Bengals defense is good enough to slow down the Patriots. So I'd like to see a Denver Patriots AFC Championship for sure. I think that'd be pretty interesting this year.
What are your guys' thoughts about this Broncos trade where they acquired Vernon Davis? Vernon Davis on the Broncos gives them another weapon. I mean, he's probably, if you were going to be fair, he's probably better than Owen Daniels, probably better than Virgil Green. So your thoughts about Davis with this Broncos offense now?
Well, I mean, can't get any worse than what Owen Daniels is doing out there. And I think Vernon Davis, while he probably doesn't have a ton left in the tank, he's at least going to be a presence in the red zone. So I'd be surprised if he doesn't catch a few touchdowns down the stretch here. I believe he hasn't caught a touchdown since week 1 of last year. So he'd be going a little bit different direction if he does find the pay dirt. But I think it's probably a good acquisition for them because Owen just didn't seem to have anything left. And they prefer to use Virgil more as a blocker than a pass catcher.
Jeff?
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be interesting. I think it just comes down to usage. Gary Kubiak loves Owen Daniels. Like, he just loves him. So it's really just about if he's going to let him take over the role, the starting role full-time from Owen Daniels. If he splits time or something, he's going to be like, yeah, a touchdown here or there. I mean, he's still really athletic. I think he's only like 32 maybe. I don't even know if he's that old. So I think he's still got lots left in the tank. It's just a matter of what Gary Kubiak's going to do. If he lets him take over the main passing role and just sits Owen Daniels, I mean, he could have some big games in the future, but it's all about usage and what they decide to do with them. How quickly he gets integrated too. It's not as easy as people think. You know, I don't know if I'd roster him the first week he plays there or anything like that.
He's also always seemed to have an attitude issue. So and it comes down to if he buys into what they're doing there, and maybe he will because they're contenders and everything. But I'm interested to see how it plays out. Yeah, and I wouldn't touch him early on. Let's see how they use him.
Although I will say he's probably pretty happy to be leaving San Francisco at this point. Like,
yeah,
he's probably pretty sick of getting passes thrown to him from Colin Kaepernick. So
yeah, like I mean, he definitely had the issue, but that was like when he was like in his prime. You remember Mike Singletary was his coach there at the 49ers. I think Singletary, of course, being from Andrew, your Bears, was the old school guy. I remember him sending Vernon Davis like to the locker room because he had a bad attitude during a game. There's definitely some turmoil there, but maybe with Peyton Manning, he will just know his spot, has grown up a few years. So we'll see about that. Let's stay, though, on the tight end schedule. Let's answer some of these Sweat Show questions. If you have a question, just use hashtag DKTV. And we'll try to get to him. At TJ Cousins, is Vernon Davis cash game viable? He's not even available this week, I would imagine, because they did the salaries. They do the salaries beforehand. You can't switch teams and be available. So don't roster him this week or else you'll get a 0. And going forward, I'm not sure what the salary is, but I'd imagine that there are probably better options for cash games. So, TJ, there's your answer there. I want, though, you guys to talk about Gronkowski Jr. We call him Barnkowski, Gary Barnage. Do you see his salary like creeping up? And like it just seems like maybe we are not believing, even though his salary isn't that high compared to his production. I'll start with you, Jeff.
Yeah, I keep writing him off because of matchups and like Arizona, and the week before he had Denver, and he just keeps scoring touchdowns. So he is the main red zone target. I mean, there's no one else on Cleveland really who's even above 6 feet at wide receiver. I feel like maybe Brian Hartline, but he's not really a red zone target. So, and he just keeps showing good hands. And I actually think the main reason why he's producing so well is Josh McCown and the Cleveland pass game is it's clicking. Like, I mean, McCown threw another 3 touchdown passes this year. Nobody saw that coming. nobody saw Josh McCown playing this well with the Browns just from the past. So I think Barnidge is definitely someone you can continue to roster going forward. At some price, he's going to get too expensive, but I think at this point, I think he was like 4,700 last week. If he stays under 5K, he'll definitely be someone I'd consider for sure.
Andrew, sometimes as DraftKings analyst or analyst in the fantasy football industry, you get tied with players. I think Barnidge is tied with you. That's got to feel pretty good.
Never has a guy been tied so much to a player that made him no money.
You have touted him so much. You haven't played him.
I mean, really, it was just that 1 week. It was more of a play against Oakland than believing in Barnidge. And unfortunately, I just haven't gotten on board. I think partly just because his history, he's never really done anything. But everything Jeff said is true. He's getting a lot of looks in the red zone. I think he's got to be someone you consider. And I think a lot of the analysts across the daily fantasy industry have kind of overlooked him to our own detriment. And they're on a bye this week, so we don't have to make the decision this week if we jump on board. But maybe when they come back from bye, give him a long hard look there.
All right, we got another one. Is ASJ, if he's healthy, do you think he's a top 5 tight end this week? They play the Giants, who just have been absolutely just have not been well. Their secondary just has not done well. But you've got Safarian Jenkins. I'm not sure you can say he's a cash game play or a viable top 5 play. But maybe Winston is like a good cheap play where you can get your studs in, Jeff.
Yeah, I'm not big on Jameis Winston, no matter the matchup, to be honest. Tampa's just – it's not even Tampa. It's just Winston. He just doesn't do it for me. I mean, I don't like the way he started. I didn't like the way he looked in preseason. Tampa's throwing less now. Even against the Giants, I don't think I would use him in cash. Maybe as a tournament play. Safarian Jenkins, it depends on price. Like if he was 2,800 or 3,000 again, I think he'd be viable. You know, Evans might be banged up, and especially with Winston Jackson out, I think there's definitely some consideration there because the cheap tight ends, it's a pretty good play. It saves you a lot of roster space.
Andrew?
Yeah, he's 2,800. So top 5 tight end, no, but top 5 value at tight end, maybe. I don't know if I'll consider him or not, but I do think it's really viable depending on roster construction. A lot of times this year I've gone down to those really cheap tight ends just because it lets you do so much elsewhere. And there kind of is this big gap. Either you pay up for Gronk or I go cheap. I haven't really loved the middle tier as much, at least in the previous few weeks. So you just can't go too wrong at 2,800. And, of course, week 1 he had that monster game where he had 31 fantasy points. So the upside is there. And that's a pretty big upside for a guy that costs sub 3K.
Yeah, and especially injuries. Like we did see Mike Evans get banged up. Vincent Jackson didn't play last week, so it depends on like who they have to throw to.
Yeah, the targets definitely might be there next week.
You had Cameron Brate. I don't even know that's how you say his last name, but he's actually one of the top value plays for DraftKings this week. Was at 2,500 and 12.8 points. So you have to think that if Safarian Jenkins is healthy, he'll be taking over his spot right there. I'm not sure if you guys have been watching this game in the second half, but it does look like the rain is passing or at least letting up a little bit, and that's good because Jonathan Stewart and Cam Newton look a lot better. Jeff, your thoughts on this game so far?
It's really wet.
Yes.
I don't know, man. The Colts are wow, they're just awful. I don't really want to watch Andrew Luck play anymore this year. I hope they sit him or something because he just doesn't look right. But I like Jonathan Stewart a lot this week. I think it was a good spot. I think it's kind of unfortunate a little bit with the rain because I think he could add a bigger first half. He did score the early touchdown. It looks like he's getting going now. But I just feel like this is a mismatch. The Colts they're playing hard tonight, but on offense they're just out of the sync, and it's mainly a luck. It looks like so. That's my thoughts on the game.
Yes, Andrew, we've got your plenty of thoughts on the game. We do have G-Val Style who just passed Purple People Eater and is in
Nice.
first place now with the first drive. And I told him that he just had to be he just had to stick with it. So on the first drive, he has passed Purple People Eater. He is currently winning $1 million in 11th place, just for you to hate, with a 252.84. So needs 9 points or more out of his defense to pass up Gus and for the $1 million. But even with a good Jonathan Stewart performance, he could finish in that second spot. And also, guys, so you've got like some pretty big money up for grabs. Scuba Ranger 76 with Panthers D, but you got some good money up for grabs with a lot of teams that have Jay Stu. We're talking about like a touchdown, meaning $30,000 or $40,000. Just some crazy swings that we might see this second half.
Yeah, I mean, it's always exciting when we're all hoping we're there one day where, a couple yards can swing 30 or 40,000 bucks. That's some real money and very, very exciting sweat to have. So good luck to all those people, Stuart. But I'd be feeling pretty good if I were them right now.
Yeah, definitely good luck to Gus. I saw him on the show before. I was definitely cheering for a little J-Stu action. That's good he got going. So, but yeah, it'd be interesting to see if we got like a 40-yard touchdown run, how that would swing things too.
Yeah, because sometimes, on DraftKings, you can only see the top 400 or 500, and you see, like, all of a sudden one big play puts a lot of people up there. We've seen that in past weeks where people that we didn't even think would be up there would be. But Drew Brees, 3.2% owned. So if you take the fact that there's over 300,000 or 300,000 teams, then you've got – is that 9,000 Drew Brees teams? Is that math correct?
That would be correct.
Okay. All right. So let's go to Gus. Gus is in first place, winning as Pete CSU Ram, who's won it before, $1 million. Gus, are you there? All right. Gus, is your mic muted? Maybe. Can't hear you. We will, but just give us a thumbs up for the money sign. All right. So we'll get his audio working. I told Gus to have faith. He did. It definitely looks like he's got a swagger back, just needs to have a sound back. So we'll check in with them later. Let's go back to Andrew Wiggins and Jeff. Hey guys, talking a little bit about some of the upcoming games for this week. Alshon Jeffrey, we talked about on a matchups breakdown, is becoming just a guy who his price at sub 7K almost made him a must play, and he definitely paid off. And I thought was maybe going to get even more than what he did, but beggars can't be choosers.
Yeah, I mean, Cutler was just staring him down, and he had 15 targets or so. And he can go up and get those contested balls and bring him down. I think he's an underrated receiver just overall in the NFL and has really as much upside as anyone. We've seen it over the years, some really, really huge games. And as a Bears fan, it was fun to watch him really have a nice game. And they didn't end up winning the game, but we'll put that on the backup running back's name, who's eluding me at the moment. But he dropped
Jeremy Langford.
Yeah, he dropped a critical third down pass at the end of the game.
Langford was one of those workhorse running backs from Michigan State that you typically see, and dropped a crucial pass in the fourth. It was clear, like if they had it was clear they were missing Forte. You have to feel bad for the people that had Forte because he was in line for a monster game, Jeff.
Yeah, it looked like it. Just put him in the pile of the injured players this week. I love Alshon Jeffrey too, though. He was great value this week. It's like Andrew said, he was priced under the elite wide receiver prices, and he's every bit as good as those guys that were at 8,000, and he's getting, Cutler just chooses a target and throws it just like he did with when Marshall was there. So I expect this production to continue with Alshon for sure.
All right. As far as Dennis McMahon wants to know, is he a top 10 wide receiver? I think he's definitely moving in the top, and even before before he got hurt, like that was the big thing is just health. Like if he's healthy, he's a top 10 guy. Like you can't deny that talent, Andrew.
For sure. It was him being hurt, and then Cutler was hurt too. Now they're both fully healthy, and it's an okay. Well, Forte being out is going to hurt him for sure because the defenses can key in on him more. But assuming Forte isn't out for a really long time, then yeah, I think rest of the year he's top 10 for sure.
T.Y. Hilton is a guy that has only 1 target and 0 catches tonight. But this is like one of those things where maybe the second half Colts team actually has some offense. Like that has generally been the narrative. So we'll see if that's the case. Thanks, though, at Dennis McMahon for the Alshon Jeffrey question. If you have any more questions, use hashtag DKTV. We're going to go to Gus in a second, but a quick reminder that you have to use hashtag DraftKings TD. And if you do and submit your DraftKings TD dance, you might be getting a shot at your own Millionaire Maker fortune. So if you do that, like just make it creative, do whatever you got, and you will be doing a touchdown dance. I'm guessing a guy didn't do a touchdown dance, but a money dance. Gus. Gus, you there?
All right. I think I'm here this time.
You are. I can hear you. You got your swag back.
Yeah, you can hear me and see me.
Yeah.
I'm here, man. I'm here.
All right. So you are winning $1 million.
Yes.
First drive.
Yes.
You and you see the Colts driving, so I'm guessing you want them to score as well.
Keep the game close.
Yeah.
Keep the game close.
Keep the game close. And how important is it with that first fumble for you to get at least 2 points ahead of the guy in second place?
It's very, very, very important, man. To be honest, I'm in for a pace now, but I ain't gonna lie. I got my swagger back, but I'm still a little nervous, man. I'm just hoping that no more negative yards, no more turnovers.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna take this thing home.
Okay, that's what we want to. Okay. That's what we want to hear. We want to hear you take it home. As far as like $1 million right now, have you been watching your My Contest page where it shows your winnings?
Yes.
Have you taken a screenshot yet?
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
So you've done all that. You're basically a pro at this.
I took screenshots yesterday.
Well, this is life-changing money. So you see those commercials. Welcome to the big time. So as far as like your friends there, what are they doing and saying?
Well, it's only one with me because I didn't want too many people to know right now, even though some people gonna find out. It's only one right now. The guy right here, he's still eating.
Yeah.
We read Pluckers and he been eating the whole time. Y'all ever have an eating contest?
Are you paying for his meal?
Yeah, I'm paying for it.
Okay, well,
yeah.
If he's there for emotional support, you can pick up the tab, especially if you win $1 million.
Yes, I am.
All right. Well, Gus, we'll be checking in throughout the night. Really appreciate you being on with us. And as you're sweating for $1 million, it's always good to get some of the players on. So appreciate you doing that, and hopefully we'll be checking back in with you later.
Okay. Let's go G-Val style. All right. All right.
G-Val style. You tell Gus has a swagger back. Let's go to BT Bounce. BTE Bounce. He is in the Fox contest and has a good little sweat going on. So he's in third, down by 6 points with the Panthers D. And then you got another guy who is in first with nobody left. So let's go to Ben T-Bounce. Ben, are you there?
I'm here. What's going on, guys?
All right. Okay. All right. So I've got a little bit of an upward angle right now, and people can see the Saints banners in the background. Now you can leave it because I have a feeling that played a very important part in you being in you chasing down this prize in this Fox contest.
Yes, absolutely. I went with my boys for sure. I knew it would be a high-scoring game. Didn't think it would be that high, but I knew it would be high-scoring for sure.
You're a Minnesota guy, correct?
I am born and raised in Louisiana, living unfortunately in Viking country for work.
It's cold there, man.
You know what? Right now it's not actually, but we are very, very close to cold weather for sure.
Yeah, as far as like how long have you been playing on DraftKings?
Actually, only about a month.
Okay, so you've been playing on a month, and you enter this Fox contest, and you're in third place, and you have Panthers D, and you have to like the fact that Andrew Luck is not looking particularly good.
Yeah, that's actually why I picked the D, because we played the Colts last week, and if the Saints D could slow him down a little bit, I figured the Panthers surely have a shot.
All right, so checking out your lineup, you want to take us through a little bit about what you were thinking. You have, of course, Drew Brees. You also have Odell Beckham. You say you're a Saints fan. Does that mean you're an LSU fan too?
Absolutely.
Okay, so did you think Odell was going to go back to like the narrative of him going back home and wanting to perform in front of the LSU Tiger fans?
I figured, I figured he'd want to put on a little show. I didn't know about a one-handed catch, but I thought a couple TDs for sure. So that worked out well.
Yeah, he definitely put on the show. So Drew Brees, Mark Ingram, Willie Snead, Benjamin Watson. You went with 4 of your Saints guys, and that paid off. Danny Woodhead, Odell Beckham, Alshon Jeffrey, guy we just talked about, Todd Gurley, who is the heaviest owned player, of course. And then you got Panthers D. So you need Panthers D to continue to perform. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. But you're in third place, 6 points back. You have to like the fact that a pick six or something immediately puts you in the first place.
Yeah, that's actually I'm as a Saints fan, I never thought I would pull for anything Panthers, but a pick six would be huge right now.
All right. Well, regardless, you entered this contest as a $3 contest. Now you're winning $5,000, so that's not a bad return on investment.
Not at all.
And then you have an opportunity to win $10,000. So appreciate you joining us. Currently, Ben Tebout currently in third place in the NFL 100K Sunday Kickoff presented by Fox Sports. Ben, thanks for joining us.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me, guys.
All right, so that was Ben. Let's go to Eric Small, Small 205. He's currently in first place in the Fox contest with a 248.24. Eric, you there?
I'm here.
Eric, you're winning $10,000. Do you have a projector going on?
I do, actually.
Okay, so tell us a little bit about that.
We're just actually sitting at the office currently. We got the email saying to maybe set up with you guys later on. I told a couple of these guys, that y'all wanted to set that up, so we just figured we'd sit at the office and set up the projector to watch the game.
Okay, I can't help but notice, I'm a Nashville guy myself, I can't help but notice there might be a little bit of an SEC accent going on right now.
Roll Tide.
roll Tide. That's like the comment for everything, and they have been rolling for sure. But you're in first place, $3 to enter this contest. You're winning $10,000. How long have you been playing on DraftKings?
I've been on a couple of months. This is actually my first NFL DraftKings.
Okay. Have you been playing college football at all?
I have not.
What are you doing?
I know, man. I don't know. I just luckily decided to get in this one, so I don't know. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah, well, if you win $10,000, you need to play a little bit, especially as a college football fan. Someone's an Alabama fan. You get Derrick Henry, Calvin Ridley in your lineups, and you have double to cheer for. And the good news is that there's nobody on Auburn worth rostering.
Yeah, no, I mean, I wouldn't. I'm really pulling against Cam here anyway, so that kind of makes me happy as well. So
yeah. Yeah, that definitely, as far as like you're wanting this to end. So 10K, and you say you got kind of lucky that you entered this contest. Let's take a look at your lineup. And I'm guessing that you were liking the way the first half went, or like that game went with Drew Brees, Brandon Cooks, Benjamin Watson, with Todd Gurley, Woodhead, AJ Green, Julio Jones, a guy that I'm sure you're familiar with, Nate Washington, and then the Texans. Tell us a little bit about this lineup.
Actually, I put together pretty quick. I was really liking Drew Brees. I haven't seen a whole lot this year, but I'm glad he stepped up this time for sure. My really worried pick was the Texans deep, but I'm glad they showed up for me. They haven't been doing a whole lot this year.
Yeah, and as far as like they were around the same price as the Rams, who were the heaviest owned D, and they got 8 more points, and so that's why you are sitting with $10,000 right now. If you win $10,000, what are you gonna do with it?
I have no idea, actually. Everybody here has been asking for a little cut of it, so I don't know. I'm sure I've already bought dinner, so we'll see.
I mean, that's a good start. As far as like office pools, you gonna have an office pool against all your buddies?
Yeah, we talked about that today, actually.
Well, I imagine they're definitely liking what they're seeing with you winning $10,000. So Eric Small currently winning $10,000 in this Fox contest. Eric, I know you say you're an Alabama Roll Tide fan, but I can't help but notice that there's 3 Georgia guys, Gurley, AJ Green, and Benjamin Watson, I think, who also went to Georgia. So I just want to throw that out there.
You got to have respect. They've got some good players. They just can't ever get it done, though, so I'm not too worried about them.
Not with Mark Richt as coach. All right, so that's Eric Small. Eric, I always like talk. Anybody I talk to from Alabama, I know that they can talk a little college football, so appreciate you being on with us.
Thank you, man.
All right. So that's Eric Small winning the 100K Sunday kickoff presented by Fox Sports. Let's see what we have next. We've got Adam Levitan. Adam had courtside seats, if I'm not mistaken. And Adam, tell us about the game. Like, Philly actually made it a game to start, and you got to see Bron.
Yeah, you believe that? Can you hear me, first of all?
I can, yeah.
Yeah. Hey, how's it going? So you believe that the face value on these tickets that I got from DraftKings was $339 to see the Philadelphia 76ers play? I mean, can you imagine paying that to see the Sixers play like the Celtics or something? It's a nightmare. But yeah, the seats were amazing, and I mean, LeBron was not aggressive whatsoever in the first half, and the Sixers were beating them pretty soundly with like TJ McConnell. Like, who would have thought I would have gone to an NBA game and seen TJ McConnell matched up with Matthew Dellavedova, like going toe to toe? It was really absurd. And then and the Sixers were actually playing really well. They got a lead there, winning at halftime, but then LeBron got serious, and he's just unbelievable. He had 2 totally ridiculous dunks, and then that's what everyone was there to see. There was one part in the game that really made me sick, though. LeBron scored his 20,000th point tonight, and they announced it. And these Philly fans, got up and gave him a standing ovation for his 20,000th point. I mean, come on, that's a violation. Am I wrong?
That's probably a violation. I'm surprised. Like, Philly fans are the worst. So I'm surprised they didn't like throw stuff at him. I'm really surprised they actually had a little bit of class, to be honest.
No. Class. First of all, the people that were at this game were wearing a Heat jersey 2 years ago. You know what I mean? They're no Sixers fans. There were a few like real Sixers fans sitting around me that trust the process. They, call Hinkie the maestro, treat it for what it is. But the most of them were just LeBron bandwagon guys.
Yeah. Well, you got to enjoy that, and you missed a terrible first half as far as this Monday night game goes. It looks like there's going to be actually some points on the board in this drive. But did you have any exposure to this game?
No, and I actually had a side bet with Al on the podcast. I had McFadden. He had Jonathan Stewart, who would have more DK points. So I know Stewart scored a touchdown, but I don't think he's done much else. But one of the reasons that I liked the McFadden side was because of right here, like at the goal line, I hope Cam gets it, although it looks like he's going to hand it off here. Oh, he dropped it.
I'm not going to spoil it. I'm not going to spoil it.
But that's what I mean about Jonathan Stewart. Like, Cam is the goal line back, or Tolbert is the goal line back, and they don't throw it to Stewart that often. So I really like the McFadden side of that, so I hope that holds up.
Yeah, McFadden at 3,800, and we talked about running backs were just terrible yesterday. Not only injuries, but some guys in Freeman actually didn't do terrible because of a last fourth quarter drive, but Forsett, Woodhead, you just had a lot of guys who did a lot of nothing for the running backs.
Yeah, so I used 3 running backs. I used Gurley, I used McFadden, and I used Forsett. So, Forsett dudded, but going down from Le'Veon, even though the point differential wasn't that much, allowed me to get to Julio. So so that was big. So yeah, I actually made out okay with running backs yesterday. How'd you do yesterday?
I had a decent NBA night. I had 3 guys on my DraftKings cash team. Andy Dalton. I went all in on Andy. I had Le'Veon Bell, and I had Mike Evans.
And you had Gurley.
Well, yeah. But as far as like those 3 were duds. And Bell especially was a killer because I thought he was in line for a good night. But I was thinking of we were talking with Andrew earlier. I thought there's the running backs like that were going to have big games. So I went Freeman, Bell, Gurley as my. I spent on them, and with Dalton seemed like the safe play, and he wasn't. I did go cheap. I played the early contest and the Thursday contest. I went with Alex Smith. And that was like the one thing I felt like I did right. But as far as anything else, that Bell injury was crushing, and it's going to be interesting to see what happens now.
Yeah, well, I think we know what happens now, right? I mean, D'Angelo Williams touched the ball over 20 times a game while Le'Veon was out last time. I don't see any reason why he wouldn't. I mean, he's not nearly as effective, but I think in that offense that he'll be just fine, don't you?
Yeah, I mean, I think he'll be fine. It's just a matter of seeing what his price tag is. I think it's like mid 5,000.
Yeah, 5,500. Yeah, credit to the DK algorithm because a lot of times we've seen in the past where these injury replacement guys stick around 3,000 or 3,500, but putting D'Angelo at 5,500 is gonna give people pause at least before they use him.
Well, now you do have him. Yeah, as far as like he's not a must play at 5,500 because you can kind of go with other players or even wide receivers. But taking a look at 2 of the other guys that are filling in, Alfred Blue's on a bye, so he's filling in for Arian Foster. Charkandrick West, who was like, that would have been a good play to play, but he wasn't in the main slate. He's on a bye as well. And so you've got Kendall Gaskins at minimum salary for San Francisco. You have Jeremy Langford. They basically said that Forte wouldn't be back for a couple of weeks. Jeremy Langford at 4K. He had a crucial mistake, and then D'Angelo Williams at 5,500. So I feel like it's not like Kendall Gaskins is a Darren McFadden guy, or even Langford is a Darren McFadden guy at 3,800, even against the Seahawks. Like, I don't think you have to play those guys.
No, come on. Don't. I mean, I haven't looked that hard at it yet, but my first instinct is I'm not playing Kendall Gaskins. I mean, this San Francisco offense is such a dumpster fire. There's no way Kendall Gaskins is going to be able to turn that around. And like you mentioned, I think the thing with McFadden was like not only could we project him for a lot of snaps, and I thought he would lead all running backs in the NFL in snaps this week because we knew Joseph Randle wasn't going to play, and we also knew that they didn't like Kristen Michaels. So, Darren McFadden was already the 3rd down back, and then he takes on a featured role also, so we could project him for like 20 touches easily. I don't think you can do that with Gaskins or Langford. I mean, it wouldn't surprise me at all if the Bears use Kadeem Carey a little bit, if they use Anton Smith a little bit and kind of mix and match there because there's concern that maybe Jeremy Langford just isn't that good.
Yeah, and he's not. He's no Forte as far as like what they can do, skill set even. So we'll talk a little bit about like some of the injuries and what to do after we go to Scoop Ranger. So Adam, we're going to Scoop Ranger. Sit tight. You've got courtside seats on the sweatshirt. All right, so we're going to go to Scuba Ranger. They are the Colts are
Muffet. Run it back. Come on, please. Run. Yeah, one guy to beat.
All right. Well, that was a good intro, though, Mike. We're all in on this game.
Hey, what's up, man?
So we went to you right before the kickoff return. it was pretty clear that you were wanting a kick return for touchdown. You're currently in 12th place, so you need all the points you can get for the defense.
I do. It's sad. I turned 20,000 to 30,000. I'm feeling bad that I'm not in the big money. It's ridiculous.
30,000 is not bad, but if you could get an interception, a couple of sacks, like it would be even bigger money. But
Absolutely.
How cool has it been to be like sweating this game with your family and friends around, like cheering on every play?
Oh my God, this is sweating. I'm a nervous wreck. This is making me nuts.
All right, I see some jerseys. So you're wearing a jersey. Your daughter's wearing a jersey. What? Okay, so you're wearing bless your heart. Is that Jamal Charles jersey?
It is.
Oh man.
Yeah.
I see a Matt Ryan jersey.
Yes, sir.
So we need
Green Bay in the house.
Yeah, you need to get some new jerseys.
Oh, I know. Oh, that's good. That's good. Wasn't Jonathan Stewart?
No, it was not Jonathan Stewart. It was.
God. Yeah. I'm a big Saints fan this week.
Okay, yeah, I bet. You got Breeze, Gurley, but Breeze, Snead, Watson, and Cooks. You went with the triple stack.
You got it. I learned how to stack those teams.
Yes.
10 games, made nothing in 9, and all of it in 1.
Yeah, that's what we like to see. And now they're going on defense, and you have to think that it's a good thing that they're going to be forcing Andrew Luck to throw, because that means you get more opportunities to get a pick 6 in the situation.
Absolutely. That'll put me in the 6 figures, I think.
Yes. So, we see right now you got a quarter left, but $30K, not bad.
Not bad.
We're hoping for 6 figures.
We are. That's absolutely
big money. All right. Well, thanks for joining us, Mike. We like seeing the enthusiasm, not just from you, but from everyone around you.
All right, thank
you. Very nice. So we'll be checking back in with him throughout this quarter, especially if there's a pick 6. So we'll see what happens. Oh, man. Going to be an interesting last quarter. As you see, let's go back to Adam Levitan. Adam, pretty long pass to Greg Olsen. And, I mean, still not what you were expecting out of these two, but their fantasy value got a little better with that connection for a touchdown.
Yeah, I thought Olsen was a little bit overpriced this week, even though he was in a pretty good spot. I thought he was pretty overpriced relative to the rest of the tight ends. So I didn't have any Olsen. I don't have any Cam, so I definitely did not need that. It seems like the rain's letting up a little bit though, which I guess would be pretty crucial for the pass game, obviously.
Yeah, and now you've got this Colts team that they've got to score points. They've got to pass, and Andrew Luck just does not look healthy. Like he looks like a wounded animal out there.
Yeah. So did you talk about his latest injury report yet?
What's the latest injury report?
Well, no, just the thing from yesterday from Jay Glazer that said not only is he battling the issue that in his throwing shoulder that we already knew about, he's also playing through the cracked ribs.
Yeah, got some ribs going on. Like the issue is like at what point do you take him out and try to get him healthy? Like that's as far as like he's playing in the AFC South. It's not that stout of a conference. So maybe you'd take him out, let him rest for a couple weeks and get him healthy and then bring him back.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, I didn't watch this game. I don't know. This I thought was, a really difficult spot. Like Aaron Rodgers would have a tough time at Carolina, I think, and Drew Brees and all these guys are going to have a tough time there. So him putting up bad numbers in this spot wouldn't concern me. But if, like you said, he just doesn't look healthy, yeah, that would concern me.
He plays the Broncos, and it is it's an afternoon game on Sunday at home against the Broncos. But then after that week, he's got a bye. So maybe they'll try to keep him out there for the Broncos game. But you could rest him next week against the Broncos, a game that they're probably not going to win anyways, and then have a bye before the Week 11 game at the Falcons. And the Falcons just do not look good. Struggled at Tennessee, struggled at Tampa Bay. Do you think it's a road issue?
That game against yesterday was at home. Maybe that's why you didn't do so well.
Yeah. No, it was at home. Yeah.
Yeah, that's probably why you didn't do so well in the NFL yesterday. You didn't know who was home and who was away. You know what I mean?
I'm trying to forget yesterday. I'm sorry. So yeah, at Tennessee,
Yeah.
at home, but they lost at home to Tampa Bay.
Right. Yeah, it's a really bad loss. And I think that, the Falcons are not as good as they looked at the beginning of the year. They're not as bad as they've looked the last 2 weeks. I think they're just okay. Like they have a lot of holes on their roster, and part of that goes back to that huge deal they did to get Julio. They gave up like their entire depth in that draft, and they've done a poor job kind of drafting and compiling picks lately also. So I think their roster is just okay, and that's just kind of the team that they are. So that's totally fine by me though, as somebody that wants to roster Julio every week. Like they're okay. It's perfect for Julio.
Yeah, and it's interesting, these concentrated offenses that only have like two options. So you've seen 2 weeks in a row that they haven't scored any points. And yet still you've got Freeman and Julio who've combined for close to value each week. And that just goes to show you that when there are only one or two options, even if they're not scoring points, you're still getting something from them, as opposed to the Patriots, the Bengals, teams that have a lot of different options that, like, if you had Eifert yesterday, you were screwed.
Yeah, that's a great point. I mean, I think market share is something that Dink likes to talk about, and I think that's a really important thing to look at, like where is it going to go? And yesterday, actually, the Falcons got really good game out of Jacob Tamme also, but Devontae and Julio Jones still got theirs also. I think turnovers had a lot to do with why they didn't score more points. But yeah, I mean, looking at concentrated offenses, I think it's huge, huge, huge. I never have any problem fading guys on Patriots, Bengals, Saints, like those teams that you talked about that just spread it around.
How much crap did CSU talk about that Broncos game last night?
Yeah, he was like going public with it, like going on Twitter, like not like a direct message to me, and not even like behind
he was calling you out.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, he's gonna get I feel bad for him because he's gonna get excited because Peyton Manning looked good in one game. Like that Chiefs drive from like week 2, he hung on to that Chiefs drive for like a month after that. Like, oh, but remember how good he looked in that Chiefs drive, and now it's gonna be like, oh, remember how good he looked in that Packers game. Like, come on, he's not gonna play well. If he plays as that well again the rest of the year, I'd be very surprised.
All right, we just had another point for the Carolina Panthers defense with that sack as they get off the field. It'll be punting away. Now we've got another big move. Gabbert, the next Men's-Sal quarterback. 49ers benching quarterback Colin Kaepernick for Blaine Gabbert. Oh, man. It seems not like a move that you want to roster Gabbert or anybody else. It seems like a move that you want to roster whatever defense is facing the 49ers going forward.
Yeah, I mean, I know Colin Kaepernick's been playing bad, but I cannot fathom that Gabbert will be any better. I mean, Gabbert is just a total disaster. Maybe he's better than Landry Jones, maybe, but I think it's like close with those guys. And to put it in perspective, I think Zach Mettenberger is a far better prospect than either of those guys, and we've seen how bad Mettenberger has been the last 2 weeks. Why don't you give me a Mettenberger take?
Mettenberger, they had 7 or 8 sacks, and you saw like the Titans beat writers say, well, he has to get rid of it, but their offensive line has just been in absolute shambles. So when you look that bad against Houston after what Miami did to them the week before, you have to give a young quarterback time. And they just did not. Kendall Wright also got hurt. They had a lineman go down, but you've got to have a better offensive line. So the Titans are just going for another draft pick, and I think Hunt's days are numbered there in Tennessee. The 49ers play the Falcons, though, this week. We're just talking about the Falcons, and I think there is something to say about playing not just that Freeman and Julio were already good options, but when you play against a team with a bad offense, you're just going to get more chances at offensive possessions. Like, it's just a thing. So not only am I looking at Atlanta's defense this week, I'll be looking again at Julio and Devonta Freeman.
Yeah. Yeah, and I thought Devontae kind of went overlooked a bit last week. Like, nothing really changed. He happened not to score in either of the last 2 weeks, but his usage numbers and his opportunity is still there, and I still think he's playing really well. So I have no problem going back to Devontae. It's just like once guys get around the 9K range, like Julio, like it's hard for me to say that Julio is a must play or anything like that. I mean, if we're going for 3x value and Julio is 9,200, he needs 28 points or so to meet value. It's like, how comfortable are you projecting a guy for 28 points? It's just a ton of points.
Yeah, it's a lot of points, but that was the way to go this past week.
Yeah, no, and I had Julio, thankfully, but yeah, I'm not going to say it's like a must play to play a guy who's 9,200.
Sweet humble brag, bro. All right, that's Adam Levitan. Adam, I know you had fun at the NBA game. We're actually going to take another NBA break here. If you're playing fantasy football and not playing daily fantasy NBA, you are missing out. So we're going to take a quick break. We'll be back with another player just for you to hate. He's the guy in Canada, has a great Canadian accent. And then we'll be back with Adam to wrap up the show. So, guys, stick around. This is the NBA break, and we'll be right back after this.
Hey guys, this is I'm a DK analyst that's going to be bringing you the latest installment of NBA Training Camp. Today we're going to be talking about matchups. Matchups are really essential to making sure that you're finding the players in the best position to succeed that night. So the first thing you want to consider is how the opposing defense plays against your player's position. And a great place to see that is right on the DraftKings draft screen. There you'll find the opponent rank, or OPRK. And what that does is it shows you the rank of the opposing defense for that position. So you want to target the high numbers, the ones in green. Those are the defenses that are the worst at defending your position. On the flip side, you'll find the low numbers in red. Those are the defenses that are very good at defending that position. You do not want to play players against those. So make sure you're looking for those green matchups that'll give your player the optimal matchup for that night. The next thing I like to look at is the projected tempo of the game that the player is playing in. You want to look for those fast, high-scoring games that are competitive. That'll give you the opportunity to potentially have a lot of baskets exchanged back and forth with very little defense. You don't want one of those types of games where they slow it down, play a lot of offensive sets, and play good defense. That will limit the opportunities that your player has to score fantasy points that night. So look for those shootouts. That's the best way to get high-scoring fantasy output. And last, I want to talk to you about blowouts, because that's always a big concern for people playing NBA. You don't want to have players that don't play a full game, because of course that caps their upside. The way that I handle is that I look at the teams that are on the projected winning side of a blowout, and I don't get too concerned about it, because if they do blow out their opponent, that means that they probably had really efficient, good games and scored a lot of points to put their opponent in that position. However, I very much caution you against the teams that are on the losing end, because their efficiency is likely to be limited, and then their minutes will be limited if they're not playing in the fourth quarter, and that gives them a very low floor and puts them in a position to really sink your entire lineup for the night. So make sure that if you're looking at those games that maybe won't be particularly competitive, that you're focusing on the players on the winning side of that. So thanks for tuning in.
All right, so we are back. There's Adam. Adam got caught on camera looking at his phone. So, all right, let's go to just for you to hate. Nope, just kidding. We'll go back to Adam. Adam, sorry, you'll have to do for now.
Where's my warning for when I'm coming back on camera?
I'm sorry. You get a free gut punch on Jay, one of our video producers, whenever you see him next. So basically, we got 12 minutes left. We're milking that clock, doing the milk the clock motions, and then seeing what we have next. As far as what in the world is going on? I'm watching TV. There's like guys suspended from the. I don't even know what is happening, but
that is wild.
Oh, I think there's like an emergency situation. So I have no clue what is happening, but something is there. Maybe something's falling. I don't know, but yeah, guys suspended there. So we'll have to see what that is.
Sure.
And you just had a Carolina interception, and they're going to try to take it back. So let's go right now. Let's see if we can go to our buddy Mike.
Woo! What's up, man?
Mike, you got another 2 points.
Yeah, I think that's another 10 grand.
Woo-hoo-hoo! A 10 grand interception.
That's
We're going to get another one, though, in a minute.
All right.
Another one.
Yeah.
So Scuba Ranger is now in 10th place.
All right.
So that is $40,000.
Hell yeah.
40,000.
Not bad at all. You want the next one to be a pick six.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Pick six.
Because like if just as an example, if he would have taken that back to the house, you would have been in 3rd place for $250,000.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
They're gonna get the ball again. You got another chance.
Oh yeah, so you're gonna get plenty of opportunities this quarter for some Carolina Panthers D love for sure.
Awesome. Looks like I'm pretty secure at the 40 though, right?
Yeah. You're pretty good with the 40, and you just need
the ball back.
Scoring points.
Sweet.
All right, so
already this is awesome.
Yeah.
You know how many text messages I've gotten? Sign me up on DraftKings.
Oh well, you've got a referral link that you can get a little credit for them when they do.
Got it.
Make sure you give them
Absolutely.
your referral link. All right, so we want to check in with you after that and interception, but it looks like
sir.
in a few minutes you'll be having another. You just want as many opportunities to get that big money.
That's right.
All right, that's
Let's see if Stewart wins. Wait, do I want Stewart? No.
Nah, you
That
probably
still hurts me.
yeah, you don't want any Stewart.
No
So you're in 10th place at Scuba Ranger 76, 10th place with a 255.34, and potentially still climbing with Panthers D. Let's see if we can go back to Adam. Adam, you there?
I am.
All right, so we've got just a lot of stuff happening. These final, like, the thing about daily fantasy is there's so much that happens in garbage time.
Every week.
So, like you just saw right there, a Corey Brown touchdown.
Oh, wow.
A Corey Brown touchdown from Cam Newton. I'm going to be honest. I told someone today, they said they had Corey Brown in their lineup, and I just laughed at them. I laughed at them because they had Corey Brown in their lineup, and now they're probably laughing at me.
Did you tell him that you had Zach Mettenberger in your lineup?
Nope. Because I had Andy Dalton in all of my DraftKings lineups, all of them. And I almost wish I did have Mettenberger, because then I could have like upgraded one of my wide receivers. I had all of the Evans too.
Right. Yeah, I actually liked Alshon more than Evans. So
I had them both, but I let a good mutual friend of ours talk me into all in on Evans and
right. Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
So what are you gonna do? Still 11 minutes though. A ton of garbage time left. Like,
Kelvin Benjamin was scored a bazillion garbage time points last year.
He was the key. Like that's a big thing. I only have one season-long league now, but it's a keeper league, and I drafted Cam, I think in the 9th or 10th round. So I'll be probably keeping him. And you have to think with Kelvin Benjamin back next year, they're going to be an even more improved offense with a pretty good defense.
They're stacked, and Devin Funchess, the kid they took in the second round, doesn't even play. I mean, what if he becomes something next year? You know, they have a lot of talent for sure, and obviously they play great defense. So, yeah, I think they're legit.
Yeah, they're going to be fun to watch. Cam Newton has just turned into, like, this season, he has done a really, really good job. 2 touchdowns, though. Like, people that played Cam, they in cash, like, they're feeling a lot better than they did in the first half. That's for sure.
Yeah, I thought Rivers was kind of the clear-cut play in that tier, which meant I didn't have any Breeze and I didn't have any Cam, but I certainly had no problem with those guys. I just thought that Rivers was far and away the best play, and obviously, Breeze blew that out of the water, and so did Eli Manning. But yeah, people that have Cam, it looks like it's going to work out.
Yeah, like I don't think they're complaining at all. And looking at the standings, I don't think you're going to have. I don't think we're going to have like any major shakeups as far as anyone not having Panthers D or Jonathan Stewart. Just a matter of like these people that have Jonathan Stewart. How much do they run him like in garbage time? Like how much do they?
He wasn't even in.
No. So, like, are they going to run him? Like, is this a thing also with these team defenses? Like, I didn't want to say to our buddy Scuba Ranger, but, like, if Indy scores a couple touchdowns, that could mean minus 2 or 3 points. So the good thing is that Andrew Luck is 5 for 16 for 40 yards.
Right. But Andrew Luck's done this before. We've seen him rack up a lot of garbage time points the last few weeks. So, yeah, if I was Scuba, I wouldn't be go spending my money quite yet.
Yeah, and not just does he, like, rack up points, but he also has he also, like, goes for these cheap passes. So I think you'll probably see just some really short, safe passes. But 40 yards, I thought a decent shot in one of these primetime games for a qualifier because I had the most points with Cam Newton and 4 other players left. And 2 of those guys on the team were T.Y. Hilton and Moncrief for the primetime game because you only have 2 games to choose from.
Right.
So
I didn't realize that there were qualifiers on the 2-game slate.
Oh, yeah, there is. There's one qualifier. 30,000 entries. And I thought I had a chance. Silly me. But T.Y. Hilton and Moncrief combined for 0 catches. So just a really bad time to have any sort of exposure. Like a lot of people had exposure to Frank Gore, but it's been all Carolina. Colts offense just has not done anything. So I'll be anxious to see, like, at what point do they just call it a night? They're only down 17, but if they had another score, like, do they just hand the reins to Hasselbeck?
No, I don't think they call it a night. Maybe 30-6 they call it a night, but if it stays within I think 2 to 3 scores, I don't think they call it a night.
All right, let's go to a guy who hopes that they don't call it a night because he has J Stu and Panthers D. That's just for you to hate. Just for you to hate is like really hoping that J Stu is just resting last drive and that maybe you get a Panthers pick 6 here. Are you there just for you to hate? No, he's not. But I'm sure he will be if they do get a pick 6. So we'll see. We'll see what happens there. So we'll go back to Adam. We'll go back to Mr. Levitan. Oh, I'm sorry. Let's go to Benny Riccardi. Adam, sorry. We'll come back to you later. We're going to talk injuries with our man Benny Riccardi right now. Benny, are you there?
Yeah, how's it going, Dave? How are you?
It's going good, man. It's going a lot better than yesterday. Ton of injuries. Talk to me about like some of these injuries and what that might mean for this week ahead.
Yeah, we're gonna have a busy week this week on the playbook, writing up all these injuries that we got to worry about. Well, let's see. We'll start from the top. We got obviously Le'Veon Bell is a big one. So D'Angelo Williams, 5,500 against Oakland this week. Oakland's pretty solid against the run. They don't give up a ton of fantasy points to running backs. But again, I mean, D'Angelo Williams had 17 and 31 to first 2 weeks of the season. So definitely somebody you got to keep an eye on. We got Forte out, so we got Jeremy Langford in there at 4K. Probably also going to see a little bit of Kadeem Carey. They also signed Anton Smith, so there's a lot of crowded backfield there. They do play San Diego, who has allowed the most fantasy points to fantasy running backs, so there could be something there. Again, I mean, I don't really know how to go with it at this point. There's a couple guys you can look for. I think Langford gets first shot, but it's not like he's a guy that we really love. Kerry Robinson getting injured is actually kind of big. No more vulturing touchdowns from Mark Ingram from him. So Ingram 6,500 this week against Tennessee. Tennessee's actually been pretty good against the run, but New Orleans is at home and they're favored, so he might be a guy to look at. San Francisco is an absolute mess right now. I mean, we had Reggie Bush go down. Hyde was already injured. Mike Davis went down. So they're down to Kendall Gaskins. They just signed Reuben Drones today. I don't even think he is going to be in the player pool this week. So, not that we really want any part of that San Francisco offense now that we find out that Blaine Gabbert is going to be taking over. Anquan Bolden's hurt for them as well. So they just traded away Vernon Davis. I mean, I don't know how they're going to move the ball. I think Atlanta defense is probably a lock this week for anybody who's listening there. Steve Smith out. He's on a bye this week, so Baltimore has a little bit of time to figure that out. Probably see a lot more Kamar Aiken. Probably some more passes going Crockett Gilmore's way at min price, so that could be good for him. One of the big ones here is San Diego. Keenan Allen went down, so he's going to be out. They actually have him out indefinitely, so we don't know how long he could be on the shelf. You got Malcolm Floyd at 3,900, Stevie Johnson at 3,200. Going up against Chicago, who's given up the 8th most points to fantasy wide receivers. You got Rivers throwing the ball 40, 45 times a game, 300 yards every game, couple touchdowns. So min price specials, those guys are definitely going to be in play, especially if there's no Gates and Ladarius. Both of them went out with injuries this weekend as well. John Phillips is the backup tight end over there. He actually caught an 8-yard touchdown pass. So somebody's got to catch some of those passes. Rivers still going to be slinging it around. So those guys are definitely people to look at. Let's see. We got VJax probably still out. Mike Evans was banged up this week. He didn't finish the game, but it looks like they're saying he's likely to play this week. After them, I mean, you got guys like Dante Dye, Adam Humphries, Russ Shepard. Nothing that you really want to look at on Tampa Bay. Hopefully they get Austin Safarian Jenkins back. He's only 2,800 at tight end. Would probably make a pretty solid play just because they're out of pass catchers, basically. My New York Jets are in a lot of trouble this weekend. We got Brandon Marshall had an X-ray on his toe today. I don't think it was good. They didn't announce the results of it, but it doesn't look like it's going to be good. So if he's out, you got Decker at 5,300 against Jacksonville. The problem is you may also have, Fitz and Geno both got hurt this week as well. So, I mean, Bryce Petty is our third-string quarterback, so he's the guy that's next man up, I guess. Some talk about re-signing Matt Flynn, so I have no idea how that situation is going to work out. But as a Jets fan, not very happy about it. Let's see, we had Josh McCown get banged up. They said he was in a lot of pain this weekend with his ribs. So we don't know if he's going to play or not. If he doesn't, obviously Johnny Football gets another shot at min price at 5K. They play Cincinnati. That's a really tough quarterback matchup. So I wouldn't be looking to use Johnny if he's in there. And yeah, that's about it. I mean, that's, pretty much the rundown of, some of the stuff I got now, some of the stuff that we're looking at, and some of the stuff we'll be keeping an eye on for you guys this week.
Yeah, and you do the target stuff for the playbook, so make sure you're checking out Benny's article. The bottom line is, Benny, we're going to be busy, and sometimes, though, we overthink things as far as trying to find a viable backup. Sometimes the answer is not a backup. It's just a regular play that is just a soft salary with a good matchup. We tend to overthink things when I guarantee people are going to overthink things when it comes to, I have to play a guy like Kendall Gaskins because he's min salary and he's a starting running back.
Yeah, I mean, some of the plays make sense and some of them don't. If you're getting Stevie Johnson at 32 and Malcolm Floyd at 39, and there's no other receivers for San Diego, I mean, those are guys you got to look at. But like you said, sometimes it's even just the guys who are already on the team that are already a big part of the offense getting a bigger piece. So, while everyone's looking to figure out who's going to catch passes in San Diego, this might be a Danny Woodhead week since they're basically out of they had three big pass catchers who got a lot of targets in Green, Gates, and Keenan Allen, who are all going to be out. So that's a lot of targets that open up. Maybe you see a few go to Woodhead there out of the backfield. You get some to Stevie. Malcolm Floyd had a really big game last week. I think he wound up with 2 touchdowns at a pretty cheap price. So a couple people that had him are probably pretty happy. Again, I mean, there's a lot of stuff that, we're going to have to look through this week because there seem to be probably more injuries this week to guys that actually mattered than, I remember in 1 week in the past, to be honest.
Yeah, for sure. That's Benny. Benny, give your Twitter handle again for everybody watching.
Yeah, you can follow me on Twitter at BennyR11, or obviously just go over to the DK Playbook and, you'll see all my stuff over there for NBA and NFL.
Awesome. Benny Riccardi. Benny, one of the guys who helps out with the DraftKings Playbook, does a great job with the Targets article. Benny, thanks for joining us.
No problem. Be good, dude.
All right. So we have a little bit of a video. We asked people to submit their video for DraftKings touchdown dances. So we're going to go, I think we have 4 videos back to back that we'll watch right now, and then we'll go to Adam Levitan. So here are the DraftKings TV videos that were submitted. I saw some of these earlier. They're pretty good.
Touchdown, baby! Whoa!
Ever seen? You have to be kidding me. That is impossible. That is absolutely impossible what he just did.
Yeah! Go Dylan! Go Dylan! Go Dylan! Go Dylan! Go Dylan! You got a touchdown! Go Dylan! Now stop! Hammer time! Yeah! I'm going to Miami, baby! End zone! It's caught! It's Greg Lewis! Touchdown! Oh my heavens! Greg Lewis! Welcome to Minnesota! Oh my heavens!
Good stuff right there. So those 4 will be rewarded with some tickets. We also have Adam Levitan with us. Adam, one of the DraftKings analysts. Adam, we just had another touchdown to Andre Johnson. Who would have thought that Moncrief and T.Y. Hilton combined for like 3 points? Andre Johnson, 15 points. He got a touchdown. What is your go-to touchdown dance?
I think we talked about this, the hump.
That is right. It's the hump. It's the friendly hump, though. Just the friend, not like a really invasive hump. Just a friendly hump. So we've got now a 23-13 game, which means it's a little more interesting. You get Jay Stu back in the game now.
Yeah, I saw he's back in. I mean, they can't see. Look, like that play right there. Look at that. Oh.
Yeah,
God, I love Cam. That's what I mean. Like, I hate rostering Stewart because like every time I think that it should be a Stewart run or a Stewart screen or something, it's just like Cam or it's Mike Tolbert. So it's got to be tilting for the Stewart owners right now.
Yes, like Stewart, they I think they called that play back, but Stewart owners really need something to happen for basically like. If he gets to the bonus, it could mean tens of thousands of dollars for some of these guys climbing
Is he close
up.
to the bonus?
No, he's at 68. So he still needs like 32 yards. But if they're chewing up clock this last 5 minutes, it's very possible that he can get it. He got like 30 yards the first drive. So first drive of the second half. So I think he could. I think that it is definitely within reach. And if that happens, then you're going to see some excited Jay Stu owners in the Millionaire Maker. Just kind of to recap right now, G-Val Style comfortably in first place with a 263.74. So we'll be going to G-Val Style to kind of wrap up the show, probably around the 2-minute warning or so. Purple People Eater in second with a 261. Raffle Bomb Volcanado. That is a long name. Is in third place, DJB in fourth place, The Clone in fifth place. Just for You to Hate has is in ninth place with 255. He actually lost some points, I think, because he has the Panthers D. He actually lost some points on that touchdown, and now you have Jay Stu. Like, he needs all the Jay Stu. If he gets 5 points, he basically moves into third place. If he gets 6 points, he gets second place, $500,000. So that's a pretty big swing to where he is now with 40,000. If there's just like a little bit of garbage time here, he can get $500,000. So should be interesting. You got T.Y. Hilton returning a punt right now. But, yeah, last 5 minutes, who knows what's going to happen. But there are definitely tens of thousands of dollars on the line. Taking a look at we just talked to Benny R about the injuries. Like, if there's one injury that you think, like, solidifies the position other than the Pittsburgh running back situation, what do you think it is? Like, what injury do you think might help people the most?
Yeah, I think Mark Ingram. I mean, when Pierre Thomas went down last year, Mark Ingram touched the ball 29 times a game. I mean, they were not hesitant whatsoever to just saddle up Mark Ingram. And at that point, he was running like, I would say, one of the best running backs in the league. And this year, you know, with his opportunities, which have been somewhat limited, I think he's around 18 touches a game this year. He's been plenty effective. So with that offense kind of clicking right now, with all the red zone opportunities that they project to have against Tennessee, with no Kiri Robinson, like Benny mentioned, to vulture anything, I really like Mark Ingram as kind of my first instinct. Obviously, it's only Monday. I haven't thought too hard about it, but you know, Gurley and Mark Ingram both under $7K seem too cheap.
Yeah. As far as like when is Gurley's price going to creep up to the prices of some of these elite running backs?
Yeah, so you know, Gurley is not a pass catching back. So like normally the non-pass catching backs don't really get up to the 8K range. And I think he's run, you know, kind of above expectation the last 2 weeks. Like, everybody rostered him because his price was so low, but also because he just had outrageously good matchups. Like, it starts to get a little bit tougher this week up at Minnesota, I believe. St. Louis is. So, you know, as he gets more and more expensive and as the matchups get tougher, I think there will be room for a fade, but I'm certainly not going to do it while he's only 6,900 or so.
Yeah, that's the thing, is like fading chalk plays. Like, people want to know about fading the top plays, and sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. And if you faded the two top plays last night or yesterday, as far as Gurley and then Steph Diggs, second highest owned guy, 48%, and got a touchdown there at the end to kind of solidify his value.
Yeah. So here's my thing on that. I know this is like, I always like explain my thought on this poorly. It's like, I rostered Gurley and Stephon Diggs, but I didn't win $1 million. Like, where's my money for that? And like, that week when Stafford and Calvin went off, like, I rostered them. Like, where's my money? Like, but it's far more easy, I feel like, to go for a fade on somebody who's that highly owned and then just like leapfrog the entire field who has like 60%. So that's my thought. I don't know. Maybe it's the wrong thought, but I don't know.
I think my thought is that I disagree with that thought, but only like disagree it to a point where I think there are many different strategies that can work.
Sure.
And so like fading the top chalk guy will eventually work. But also like playing the top chalk guy will also eventually work. So.
Right. But did we really gain anything by playing the top chalk guy?
It just depends. Like, it's always going to be like, who else did you play?
Exactly.
Like, you have to play the top chalk guy to play the other guys.
Right.
So if you play the two top chalk guys with the Saints offense, then you would have some money.
Yeah, I would have. Too bad that didn't really cross my mind.
Like, and that's the thing, is that we talked about how that game was like Vegas had that game as such a high scoring game, and yet really I had very little exposure to it, and I probably should have rethought that.
Yeah, me too. And it's because of the concentration thing. It was like, yeah, I thought the Saints would score a lot of points, but like how? And like I couldn't say exactly how, and I wasn't gonna like roster Ben Watson and Snead and Cooks, you know what I mean? So I ended up with very little also.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting to see now what happens with this upcoming game. It's just are people going to follow the points? And to be honest, I wouldn't blame them if they did. I wouldn't blame them a bit if they followed the points. As far as that offense looked really good, and they're going to have a lot of opportunities this week as well.
Right. Yeah. Like I got to go back and watch the game. Like, is Ben Watson actually like a thing, or like I don't even know. I mean, how old is that guy?
He's pretty old. Old school Georgia guy who is just just basically a backup. Blocking tight end. Jimmy Graham was the main tight end, but I think he may even played at like New England before that. Like he was a lot of different places, and then he just went to New Orleans and just has kept playing. So it's interesting. The guy that has played well, the best in this game as far as receiver goes for the Colts, Andre Johnson. Caught that touchdown, caught another pass. So the Colts are moving. If they score right here, all of a sudden it's a 3-point game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is bad. This is bad for people with Panthers D.
Yeah, it's really bad for people with Panthers D, and it does look like they're going to score something. So we'll see what that is. But if they score right here, you've got 3.5 minutes, and they've got 2 timeouts. You don't have to onside it right here. You can just kick it off. You got 2 timeouts and a 2-minute warning. You would theoretically have plenty of time for a stop and a drive to at least kick a field goal for overtime.
Mm-hmm.
So interesting to see like this actually be a game, because it has felt so lopsided. You had 40 yards a couple of drives ago for Andrew Luck, and now all of a sudden it could be a 1-possession game.
Yeah, and like this is not new to this year for him with like the fourth quarter like comebacks and stats and stuff like that. He did this last year and the year before too.
Yeah. Do you think that's more of a product of his style of play, or maybe like the defense, like prevent style?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, it might be true. Maybe he's just like not doing those like smelling salt things before the game. Who knows?
Is that a theory? The smelling salt theory?
I'm always looking for good narratives.
Yeah, well, that is definitely one. Oh, okay. Let's go over highest scoring players, and I do this to you every week. Let's see if you can get
this one. Should be easy. Drew Brees.
Okay, number 2.
Willie Snead.
Not even close, man. He's number 19.
Ben Watson.
No, this is high scoring.
Okay. I got it.
Not most value. High scoring.
Odell Beckham.
Odell Beckham, number 2.
Eli Manning.
Eli Manning, number 3.
Julio Jones.
Julio Jones, number 4.
And
you won't get number 5.
Alshon Jeffrey.
Carson Palmer, number 5. To round out the top 10, Benjamin Watson, Derek Carr, AJ Green, Alshon Jeffrey, Jacob Tamme. Yeah. So definitely interesting. Of note, Todd Gurley, 15th on that list. Demaryius Thomas, Tavon Austin finish ahead of Gurley, and Michael Crabtree at 4,700 finish also in the top 20.
Yeah, we should note that Michael Crabtree's actually been targeted more often in the red zone, and could argue he's actually outplaying Amari Cooper this year.
Yeah, but I mean, Amari Cooper is getting wide receiver 1 coverage. So had a little bit. I think Cooper could definitely have, or that whole offense could have a big game.
Yeah, no, I agree. I love Amari Cooper. I'm just saying that Crabtree is so overlooked every week.
So 2.5 minutes left in this game, and now we've got 1 field goal, and then it could get into overtime.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Fleener just scored.
Yeah. So the Fleener connection, T.Y. Hilton is not really a thing. Moncrief, not really a thing. It's been Fleener and Andre Johnson for this Monday night game. We always get the best performances on Monday night. So we'll see.
I have a bad feeling about next Monday, this San Diego-Chicago game, because we're all going to have a lot of players, and I have a bad feeling because every Monday we sit here and we talk about how much we expect Monday night, and then nothing happens.
Yes. All right. So we have Gus. Gus has to be feeling really good. He said he wanted to keep this a game. He's currently winning $1 million. These Colts points have meant that his lead has been basically secured. So I'm not going to call it yet because who knows? Anything could happen, but it's looking really good for him. So Gus, G-Star, a.k.a. G-Val style. Gus, you there?
I'm here, man. I'm here.
All right. So as the clock goes on, we have the little motions we like to do. It's like the milk the clock motions. Is that what you're doing right now?
Yeah, they need to hurry up and get this over with. Come on.
Yeah,
hurry up. Let's get this over with.
So what's going on right now with where you're at and your buddy? Like, you guys have some bottles of champagne that you're going to be popping?
It's right here. It's right here.
Okay, so
it's
what
right
is that?
Here.
What is that?
Actually, it's pink lemonade.
So champagne, pink lemonade. We'll call it pink lemonade just to sound fancy. But you got your close game. You've got your Colts points. So this has been like the perfect game script for you.
Yes, it is, man. Everything went perfect. Everything went perfect.
You even got the touchdown. Like, we didn't think that John Stewart would get touchdown opportunities, goal line opportunities. But had it not been for that early touchdown, you wouldn't be winning the million. So, like, literally everything has gone your way. You've also got, like, if there's somehow 24 more yards, you get the bonus points out of Jonathan Stewart. But, man.
I know. That'll be perfect.
It's got to be feeling more and more real as this clock continues to wind down.
I know, man. I know. I'm going against the clock. Against the clock.
So,
it's mine. It's mine. It's mine.
Okay. All right. So you talked about surprising your mama. How is that going to go down?
Because she was wondering why today I told her to stop paying a down payment on a new car. She was about to go do a down payment on a new car, and I told her to stop. She was persistent. So I haven't told her what's going on yet. I'm gonna tell her tonight.
Okay, so she was gonna go buy a car, put a down payment on it, and you said stop.
Yes.
Could that mean that you want to buy your mama a new car?
Yes. I'm gonna do for her first. One for her, I wouldn't be here. So
okay.
I look out for me last.
I got chill bumps, G-Val style. What as far as like a down payment on a car, you want to buy her a better car, a newer car, and you would then be in the running not only for a millionaire, but for someone who's in line for Son of the Year.
Oh yeah, man. Yeah, I'm gonna look out for other people first, man. You know, like I was saying, hey, this money, I don't read stories about people winning lottos and be broke in 3 years. I'm not gonna let that happen to me. I'm gonna be smart. I'm gonna be smart with it.
Yeah.
So, I'm gonna be very smart with it.
We like to hear people being smart for it, but like smart with it. But it is life-changing money. Like this is,
yes, it is.
This is $1 million. Did you think that you would become a millionaire by playing fantasy sports?
Actually, I had a dream. I was telling my friend at work. I had a dream 2 weeks ago that I was gonna be a millionaire. My left hand, we're here in Dallas. It's a saying that if your left hand itch, you come into some money. All last week, my left hand was itching. And look what happened. At 10:30, I was driving. I heard a DraftKings commercial. I wasn't even going to play this week. I heard the commercial. I said, let me pull over. I pulled over side of the road. I put my team together. Now look what happened. By me hearing the commercial. If I didn't hear the commercial, I'll be honest, I wouldn't even go play this week.
So you heard the commercial, you pulled over on the side of the road, you created your lineup, and now you're a millionaire.
Yes. Unbelievable.
Man, G-Val style.
Yes.
Welcome to the big time.
Man, appreciate it. Appreciate it. I'm about to do a dance in the food. I already told Pluckers to some Michael Jackson on Beat It. I'm gonna do my jeans. I'm gonna put my shades on. I got the swagger back. I ain't lying. I went from 0 to 100 real quick. I don't know what I'm gonna do. I'm about to step. Man.
All right.
And congratulations to everybody else who won money. Hey, let's keep fantasy football alive. I heard about these people trying to stop it. No, we're gonna stop that.
Yeah.
We're gonna stop that.
We have basically 2 minutes left. You just have to basically milk that clock. You need more J Stu. Do me a favor though, whoever get somebody to hold the phone. I want to see the Michael Jackson dance as they're playing. As they're playing Michael Jackson, like I just want to see you dancing and winning money and doing the left hand itch sign.
Okay. I got you.
Okay, so we're going to we'll be back in probably 4 or 5 minutes because we still have the 2-minute warning, and we'll make sure that you get.
That's good. I need to charge. That's good. I need to charge your phone for about 5 minutes.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Sounds good. All right. Woo. Adam, are you there?
Did that guy say that he made his lineup on his phone on the side of the road on Sunday morning?
Let's just recap. Let's recap what just happened here. He was driving down the road. He heard a DraftKings commercial on the radio. So he pulled over and set his lineup. And he's going to win $1 million.
Will you quickly run through his lineup for me? I didn't see
that. No, we'll go through his lineup right now. He's got Drew Brees, Todd Gurley, McFadden, Tavon Austin. He paired him with Gurley. Austin went nuts for him, probably the X factor along with the Texans defense. And then he had Odell Beckham, Julio Jones, Ben Watson, and J Stu. So go ahead.
That's a pretty sharp lineup for somebody just throwing it together on their phone. He had McFadden in there. He had Julio. I thought Texans D was kind of a sharp play.
Yeah, I mean, he described it, and like he said, he threw it in on the side of the road with 30 minutes left. But the way he was describing it, he played a little bit of narrative street with the Texans getting embarrassed last week. He liked McFadden at home. He liked pairing Gurley with Tavon Austin, but he did the handcuff with Drew Brees and Ben Watson. So yeah, I think it's a plenty sharp lineup, not a bad lineup. And man, what a story! He also said that he had a dream 2 weeks ago that he was gonna become a millionaire, and then he said his left hand was itching all last week, and that's a sign that you're about to come into some money.
Is the left hand the one he uses to punch in the players on his phone?
I don't know if his left hand is his lineup selecting phone, but if that's not like a welcome to the big time commercial, I don't know what is.
Oh man, I'm happy for that guy. That's amazing.
Yeah, no, it's funny because he said his mama was going to buy a car and put a down payment on that car, and he told her not to today. So he's going to buy her a car and take care of her first. Pretty cool stuff. That's like, these are the stories we like to hear. Obviously, you know, people like to play, especially these big tournaments, because you like to have the sweat. You like to always have the opportunity. But even though I'm not winning anything this week, it's still cool to see these stories like Gus's.
Oh yeah, that's the thing about these tournaments. You know, you don't have to be a pro or anything like that to win these tournaments. I think we've seen like how many of the millionaire makers have been first time or like single entry people or stuff like that. Probably a lot, right?
Yeah. Plenty of people. So now you see some of these guys, it's really, they need, I think for all intents and purposes, it's all over as far as like, people, you've got some Stu Panthers lineups, but unless there's a pick six, I think you're going to see much money move. If anything, these people that already have players, that or all out of players that are like winning, they want to see the Colts score again, so that the teams with Panthers D go down.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens there. Like you've got a team, Baby Kaya, that they stacked a team. So they basically have two lineups of the same team, and they're in 6th and 7th place. So they're winning 50,000 and 75,000. So they're winning 125,000 with these two lineups. So they had Breeze, Gurley, Hillman last night.
Mhm.
Uh,
That was a sharp play.
yeah. Okay, but here's the thing. How many did C.J. Anderson score?
He didn't have as much as Hillman, I don't think, did he? But it was close.
Yeah, it was close. So okay, so I'm gonna try to find out to see what Hillman had 18.5 and C.J. Anderson had 20.6, and C.J. Anderson was 4.3K. Hillman was 4.6K. All right, so we've got 1.9 point difference there. Let's say they just split it, where one team with C.J. Anderson, one team with Hillman, they would have actually pulled into 5th place with that lineup, so they would have got an extra 25K. Not too bad. So 150, 125K, not too bad. I thought it might be more than that.
Yeah, but Hillman was definitely the right play in that.
I agree. But
Don't make these guys feel like they punted 20.
No. I'm not I'm just saying if you have two choices, it all depends on like what situation you're in. If you have two identical games with two running back spots, with a running back spot, and you can use like either one, I'm just saying a little bit of game theory. I'm not making anybody feel bad, guy. Don't you worry about me. All right, we got the matchups breakdown. Also of note, I probably won't be here next week. I will be on baby watch, maybe even like
oh wow,
dad time. Like it's
what is the exact due date?
The exact due date is the 14th.
Okay.
But
yeah, but you can't leave the week before.
Well, and my wife thinks it's any day now. So you know how women are, especially pregnant women. They change their minds, you know. And this is not like this is something that's just a fact. So it's not even something that is like degrading or offensive. It's just something that is a fact. So we've got Alicia, who is here, who as soon as I said I looked over to her because she is the neck that turns the head, as most women are in the family. But my wife said, you know, as long as the baby's not here, you can go. You can go. Like it doesn't matter. Like you can go. So I'm like, okay, well, I'll tell them that. And then today she was like, you know, you're not going next week. I'm like,
you can't go because what if it happens while you're up there?
I know. So she had her family like drive in today to be with her just in case it happened. But yeah, we'll be on baby watch. But the good news is we'll have all the DraftKings analyst teams, and we'll also have Dan Strafford, who will be anchoring here. And I think Dan's been shadowing me today, so he's been seeing how everything goes. He's going to do a great job with everybody next week, so should be fun. We do have a fun game though next week, and maybe I can be joining by Skype. I just will not be at the controls.
Quick story. When I had my kid last March, I just randomly threw in like some lineups into an NBA contest while I was sitting in the hospital bed, and I binked like a 5th place. So make some hospital lineups.
Okay. Not going to lie. This is what happened when I had my Draft Street was still around. And so I had already registered for all the games, and I basically went to the hospital and did not see there was no chance I was going to leave when my daughter was born and go try to create lineups. I'm all for I've skipped out on Christmas events before. I've acted like I was sick to create lineups, but the first kid, I'm not doing it. Maybe the second kid. But no, you have as far as so I gave my info to Drew Dinkmeyer and Davis Maddock and just said, hey, just make sure there's no inactives. And I won a tournament as well on Draft Street that night. So maybe it's good luck. All right. So we've got a minute left now, and we're going to go to Gus. Gus is on the line, and Gus just wants this game to does not want any overtime at all. Gus, you there? Can't hear Gus. That's okay. As long as we get to see Gus dance, that's all I care about. So hopefully you can see Gus dance. But we have 55 seconds left, and we have potentially a game-tying field goal coming up, Adam.
Yeah, and I mean, believe me, I don't want overtime, but it's with Adam Vinatieri, it's looking increasingly likely.
Yeah, we've got we've got Vinatieri. Like, this is the one thing they don't want is a penalty. Like, penalties.
The Panthers choked this game.
Yeah, they were up, and do you think
conservative.
I was about to say, do you think they played too conservative?
Of course, every NFL coach plays too conservative. They're insane. This dude's supposed to be Riverboat Ron.
Hey, kudos to Ron Rivera because he actually changed his style to fit this team, and it has showed. So now he just needs his defense to step up, and you've got people. Some people don't realize that you have Andrew Luck, who is as much of an athlete as Cam Newton is.
Wow, relax.
Close.
Relax.
Close.
It's not close. Andrew Luck's an underrated athlete, but Cam Newton's a freak.
Okay, they both are really good athletes. Combine numbers were comparative, aren't they?
I don't know about that.
I'm pretty sure they were. But he's driving right now. We're waiting on Gus to see if he has I'll be honest, I don't want overtime. I do not want overtime at all. I want Indy to go for the win.
That's not going to happen, though. I mean, they got a 47-yarder right now.
Yep. And they just got another pass, so it's going to be overtime. Our first overtime on the Sweat Show is going to be absolutely brutal. Talking about an extra 25 minutes of just talking about nothing. Because I don't think it's going to change. I don't think no one is behind enough with enough players to go that is going to change the outcome of this game. There's not going to be a 2 pick sixes because that would be impossible.
A Stewart team.
Well, the Stewart team's already in first place, is what I'm saying.
Oh, okay.
So you saw them go for it right there. That would have been interesting. They went for the touchdown there on first down to TY. So we have some drama still left. I think we have maybe not Gus. I thought I maybe heard some audio there. All right. Let's just kind of see what's going to happen in these last plays. This is always the brutal part, is just waiting and watching, seeing what we got. And I'm personally hoping for a touchdown.
Yeah, obviously.
We see he got tackled. I think he said he got tackled out of bounds. I thought he was tackled inbounds for sure. So yeah. As far as other stuff, let's go over. We haven't gone over the NFL perfect lineup, Adam. We got more stuff to talk about.
Yep.
All right. Drew Brees, Todd Gurley, C.J. Anderson, like I just said, Odell Beckham, Julio Jones, Marcus Colston, and Benjamin Watson, Jacob Tamme, and the Texans. Give me a guess at what the price for that or the salary for that team is.
44,600.
Wrong. 47.5. So I knew you wouldn't guess it because I knew you wouldn't guess 500 or 1,000. You have to guess the numbers just a little, just a little less or just a little more.
Yeah, makes those odd numbers. You know how it is. It makes you look more sophisticated.
I told you when you guessed. Who was it? The player that you were trying to guess ownership percentage?
I think I said I was so off. I said Le'Veon Bell Todd Gurley would be 39, and he was 67.
Yeah, you said 39. I said 39 because 40 would just seem lazy.
Yeah, exactly.
It would just seem like you're spitballing if you say 40.
You're opening up all the tricks.
All right, so we had a little bit of a whining noise. I think Gus is still trying to get his audio working. As long as I see a Michael Jackson touchdown dance is all I care about. And oh man, Luck is fast. I'm not saying he's as fast, but 9 seconds left with this game like winding down. I think everyone is just like, this is becoming a game where everyone's just like, all right, I don't have any luck. I don't have anybody for the Colts. I just want to see a good ending. So that's what they're wanting.
Yeah, no, this is an amazing comeback.
Man, you just see him like just steamroll whoever that was on the sideline.
Josh Norman.
Was that Josh Norman?
That was.
Oh man.
Wow, they're going for the touchdown, 5 wide.
Yep, and they just called a timeout. The Panthers just called a timeout. So they're going for it. Indy without any timeouts left. So if they get sacked, it's game over. Don't get a sack, don't get a intentional grounding call. So maybe they go for a field goal here. Cam Newton is not exactly smiling as wild as what he was earlier. All right, let's go to some of the qualifiers. Did you see our buddy Pete had a pretty big night tonight?
In what sport?
Football. Or a pretty big weekend, I guess.
Oh, really? I know he had some sick lineups. He was like in the top 5 in the listener league also.
Oh, he was top 5 in the listener league. So we'll take a look. Okay, so we'll take a look at this. Some of the qualifiers going on. Again, we've only there's 200 entries into this qualifier. Or into this championship event. So we're only a little bit past halfway full. There's still lots of opportunities to get in there. They called incomplete on that, and so now I think you have to kick the.
Oh wow! It should have been picked.
Yeah, that should have been an interception.
Oh my god!
So now, is that? Luke, what is he doing, man? What is he doing?
Wow.
He just wants to keep us here all night. All right.
Oh, my God, right in his hands.
All right, so they're going to kick the field goal. It's going to go to overtime. And
what did Pete win? Multiple seats?
He won one, and he needed some J Stew in the other. So that's what we're going to look at right now. I feel like my voice is going to become like yours here soon.
Yeah, I'm in big trouble. This is going on a week now. I'm afraid that I have to go to the doctor. I don't want to look like a wuss and be like, hey, I have a sore throat and a cold. I'm at the doctor, but it's gone over a week now.
Yeah, well, that happens. Also, if you have the prime time game, for that qualifier, I'm guessing overtime would be pretty big for that as well. All right, so you have the qualifier, 2 qualifiers, the $20 qualifier. You have, sorry, that's not the right one. Trying to find the live qualifiers for last week. And
I have Pete's lineup in the listener league if you want.
Okay, read the listener league lineup that Pete's in. Is it the one that has J Stew in it?
It is.
Man, I can't believe he was on J Stew this week. What a guy. He's so sharp.
But J Stew does have less fantasy points right now than Darren McFadden, so I am winning that. But this lineup has 220 points. It's in 7th place in the listener league. Breeze and Cooks. Field goal is good there, so we're going to overtime. Breeze and Cooks, Gurley and J Stew. And then his receivers were Beckham, Antonio Brown, Alshon Jeffrey in the flex, Crockett Gilmore, who I assume was his pivot off with Darius, and then Raiders D, which was interesting. I actually liked Raiders D a little bit also home against Fitzpatrick. So 220 points. I don't know if that was good enough for qualifier seats, but that's good enough for 7th in the listener league.
Very nice. He's in the mega qualifier. The mega qualifier, he's first place by a wide margin with 220.94. Other guys in that, B Irish, Live Straddle, Under Jones, Get Me a Brew holds on. He had Jonathan Stewart. So looks like we actually have. Oh man, this would be a sick beat right now because they're tied. The top 5 get it. They're tied for 5th place. So all Get Me a Brew needs is one rushing yard out of Jay Stu.
Yeah, this is really unfortunate.
Or if he gets negative yards, he would actually lose that. How sick would that be?
What happens if there's a tie for the last qualifier seat?
I think they split the value of the seat. But Pete did get a second entry in the $1,000 qualifier. He's winning it as well with the lineup we talked about. So congratulations to Pete. Going to be winning 2. Gosh, we're gonna be winning 2 seats. All right, I just got a note. This is what happens when you have overtime. You start doing silly stuff. You start getting loopy. So, Millie Ticket, if you can guess how many touchdowns Soccer Dave had in his senior year in high school, make sure you tweet with hashtag DKTV.
What position did you play?
I was a wide receiver. I was like a wide receiver or tailback, like kind of that hybrid position. But I don't want to give anything away, but I didn't tear it, but I hurt my knee pretty bad. So I only got to play actually for 6 games. If that tells you anything. So tweet how many touchdowns you think I had. So I guess they're doing this because there's an article that came out about me in the Tennessean local paper here, and it said that I was a high school star, and that may have been a little bit extreme as far as in all sports. I was decent in basketball, but soccer, yeah, football, basketball, okay, I could play. But make sure you use hashtag DKTV, and we got like 15 more minutes. So I'm actually going to need some waters. Is it possible we can take a quick break? Oh, can we take a quick break? Can we queue up some NBA stuff? We'll come back. We'll talk about Soccer Dave's extraordinary high school football career that was non-existent.
I want to see this Tennessean article.
Okay. I tweeted out yesterday.
Oh, I missed it.
You're actually on the cover pick. You, me, and Drew at the Miami kickoff bash.
Oh yeah.
So yeah. So it's the kickoff show that we did.
Yeah, I'm using the Google machine right now.
All right. So let's take a quick break. We'll be back. We've got a 15-minute overtime, and hopefully someone scores a touch. Oh, can they please return this? Oh, man. No, they can't. Please, though. Please score a touchdown first here, Colts. They are in a good position to do it. 45-yard line. We'll take a quick break. We'll be right back after this.
Hey guys, this is Andrew Wiggins. I'm Maka Super on DraftKings. I'm a DK analyst who's going to be bringing you the latest installment of the NBA training camp. Today we're going to be talking about roster construction, both what positions you should be targeting and where you should be spending the most money. So I like to start my roster with an elite point guard. And part of the reason is that he's getting that 1.5 per assist. The point guards, the elite ones in particular, are the people that are facilitating their offenses. So you'll have nights where maybe their shot isn't falling, but they're still going to have the ball in their hands a lot, which is key. And so they can still rack up assists and, of course, rebounds as well. Some point guards more than others. It gives you a high floor, which is really important because when you're spending a lot on a player, if he has a really subpar night, that's going to sink their lineup. And generally, you're not going to find that with the elite point guards. A similar logic will apply to the elite power forwards and centers. Those are guys that are going to be involved around the rim a lot. They're going to be there to get rebounds. And again, if their shot isn't falling, they're still going to be grabbing boards. And actually, if they're missing shots, they might be grabbing their own rebounds. So there's some correlation of missed shots actually adding to more rebounds, also raising their floor. And that's just so crucial when you're making an NBA lineup. For those same reasons, I try and target those players in the flex spot. And also with point guard, oftentimes there's injuries that it'll open up a spot for a new player to come in and play point guard, and you know that he's going to have the ball in his hand a lot. And that raises the floor for a player that might otherwise be pretty risky because he's normally a bench player. If he has the ball, you know that he's going to be racking up those stats that are going to give you points on DraftKings, and that's really important. So always work to target those players that have the elevated floor, but also still possess a high upside. Make sure you're checking back with DKTV and DraftKings Playbook. We'll be bringing you great content throughout the course of the entire NBA season.
Okay, here's what you need to know to start winning real cash prizes playing one-day fantasy basketball at DraftKings. Whether you browse on your computer or on the free mobile apps, the game's the same. First, select your game. Browse the featured lobby or view all NBA contests. Choose from many marquee tournaments, head-to-heads, and beginner-friendly contests. Pick your contest and you're ready to draft. For all NBA contests, you'll draft a point guard, a shooting guard, a small forward, a power forward, a center, another guard and forward, and a utility player, which can be any player of any position. Your goal is to build the best 8-man roster under the $50,000 salary cap. Each eligible NBA player from that day's games is assigned a salary. They'll earn you points for baskets, assists, rebounds, and more. Once your lineup is complete, click submit, and that's it. Track your team online or on our free mobile app to watch your squad rack up points in real time. And when the last game is over, bask in your own drafting genius, as your winnings are automatically credited to your account. More sports, more winnings, more millionaires. It's a whole new season every week at DraftKings.
And we are back here on the Week 8 Sweat Show. Looks like we got a field goal coming up. Adam, you can't see me, can you?
No, I can't see you. I just read the article, but go ahead.
I've got in my hand a pizza roll, and it's really just a piece of pizza rolled up. But our producer was doing it, and then everybody's like kind of making fun, and then we decided to do it as well. So this is what happens when you get overtime. They rolled up the pizza crust first from the back. That is how they do it here in Boston with their pizza.
No.
So you read the article then?
I did. I'm not going to give anything away, but that is an impressive basketball resume.
Hey, you know, I played basketball with C.J. Watson in AAU.
C.J. Watson, he went to Tennessee, right?
Mm-hmm. He did.
He was on your squad? He was on your AAU squad?
Yep.
Were you guys good?
Oh, we're pretty good. Not bad, that's for sure. As far as me, though, I was just a shooter. I know. Like, you look at me and you're like, what? You were like a really athletic, like slash to the rim type of guy, like that could dunk, but no. We had a guy, he was actually on one of these Hoops mixtape Twitter accounts that they like tweet out all this amazing stuff. Like someone found the footage. He was 5'4" on our team and could throw it down two hands.
Oh, wow.
Was just amazing. He actually went on to play minor league baseball. But was interesting. So all right, so we've got a field goal, so that means do or die for the Panthers. And if I know just our luck, here's what's going to happen: they're going to kick a field goal, and then this game is going to be like tied, going to the very end. So that's just what's going to happen. So let's see if we're good to go to Gus. Okay, so we're good to go to Gus. So let's see if we can go to Gus to see if he is just like hanging around and waiting for this game to end as well.
All right, can you hear me?
Yeah, Gus.
I finally got the word, man.
All right.
Hey.
All right, good things come to those that wait, Gus. Like
That's right. That's right.
You've got a little bit of overtime, and you're looking good.
Yes, I am. Yes, I am. Yes, I am.
All right. So you've got some Michael Jackson ready to play there in the background. You're wanting just like a quick turnover so you can finally start to celebrate. You think you'll take
Yes.
it work? Oh, look at you. Already got your groove on.
Well, actually, my supervisor's watching me right now.
Okay, so I was going to ask if you were going to take off work tomorrow, though.
Hey, Jerry. I don't feel good.
Jerry, he's done got sick.
Yeah. I think my heart got the flu.
Jerry, you should know. Jerry, as supervisor's watching. Jerry, you should know this is like a real thing. It's called the millionaire disease. Like, it's what happens. Only millionaires get it, but it is definitely a real thing. So you see Jay Stu getting a reception now, just adding points to your total.
Oh, yeah. I see. I'm looking at it right now. I'm looking at that, and I'm also watching Golden State go out Memphis by 33 points. They're looking pretty good. But
do you play daily fantasy NBA?
Yep.
Do you set your daily fantasy NBA lineups in the car 30 minutes before tip-off time?
Hey, I'm going to start doing that.
Yeah. There's going to be a lot of people who just like, all right, let's see what we can do.
Sometimes when you sit around thinking about it too long, that's when you make the mistakes. Sometimes when you rush it, hey, you never know. Some people make. But hey, I got more people signed up now because a lot of people, my job is be playing now because I be playing to play. I be saying, y'all need to play. Y'all need to play. You're not gonna win. You're not gonna win. Okay.
So you're going to you're going to have your office pool.
Yes.
And then
Yes.
like your supervisor, he's probably wanting tips. So he can listen to the DraftKings podcast that Adam does and our matchups breakdown that we do on Thursdays.
Oh, okay.
So Jerry,
let me know what time. Jerry be listening. I have my other friend Jeremiah. He gonna be listening because I've been trying to tell him to play. He got a good sports mind, but hey, he didn't want to. But what just happened?
yeah, you just saw a surefire touchdown and game-winning catch be dropped by Corey Brown. That guy is the worst. The guy is the absolute worst. In his hands, and he dropped it.
Oh, that's the game too.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, all right. So you say Jeremiah is out there as well?
Yep.
All right, Jeremiah. His left hand is starting to itch because he's going to be listening to the podcast and the matchups breakdown this week, and going to be winning money.
Both of them good sports guys, so they good at fantasy. They good at fantasy, but hey, now they got to get good at daily fantasy. They will, though. They will.
All you have to do is show them that screenshot when they try to say that they have an opinion that's different than yours.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You can just show them the scoreboard.
By the way, go Cowboys. Cowboys still going to win the NFC East. Y'all hear it right now.
Are you a Cowboys fan?
I love them. I hate Philadelphia, though. I love the Cowboys.
Okay. So you're a Cowboys fan. Does that come into play as far as like you playing McFadden at all?
To be honest, yes.
Okay.
But the good thing about it, it wasn't running back by committee this week. Since Randall was out, I had a feeling that McFadden was going to have an okay game. So that was one of the reasons, too. No running back by committee this week. So
Are you going to try to talk some sense into Randall as a Cowboys fan?
Man, to be honest, I don't know what's wrong with the guy, man. He got talent, but sometimes, how can I say this? Sometimes you got to leave the hood behind you. That's all I'm gonna say. But they hope we can do something, man. We got to do something. We need a backup quarterback. Hate to say it, we need a backup quarterback. So everybody who downtown Romo, y'all see that the Cowboys really do need Romo. So
yeah. Yeah, people that were downplaying Romo now see how bad that the Cowboys need him. As you see, like you might just get another Jay Stu touchdown just to add insult to injury.
Yes.
All right. So currently almost in field goal position for Graham Gano. And like I said, this game is definitely getting another field goal. We're going to just use the whole clock. Like they're wanting you to wait as long as possible.
I know.
Celebrate.
I know. I've been waiting on this moment all day. Now look.
Maybe Yeah.
Yep, we're going to overtime. I mean, they're going to go extra drive.
Yeah. You saw the guy that dropped a wide open touchdown just catch a really tough diving play right there. So just the way this game is going. Gus, tell us a little bit about like your sports background as far as have you always enjoyed sports, fantasy sports?
Yes, well, to be honest, I still play semi-pro right now. I used to be receiver, but I'm tight end now. And I love sports, man. My dream was to be pro one day, but that didn't work out. You know, personal things and injuries, whatever. But I've been loving football since I was a little kid. And I always have a dream football was going to make me a millionaire, but I never did thought it was going to be fantasy. I thought it was going to be a player. So, hey, everything happened for a reason. So, I'm not over. Y'all going to see me again, too, though.
Yeah.
Y'all going to see me again.
You should enter some of the qualifiers and come to San Diego and compete for that 15 million prize and be on ESPN.
I heard it. I'm going to be in it. I'm going to beat her. I'm going to beat her. What? What?
Gus, it looks like you've worked out a time or two.
Yes.
So as far as like the flex pose, that's now you can flex your bank accounts and your muscles. Oh, look at that! Look at that! Got the.
Like I said, I'm gonna get my mom in the car. The first thing I'm going to get is WrestleMania tickets. Because WrestleMania tickets on sale Friday morning. They're gonna be here in Dallas. I'm going to get WrestleMania tickets. So I'm gonna be honest. I love having fun. You only live once.
So you're gonna have fun. Get some WrestleMania tickets. I did not think that was gonna be the first thing you got. So how are you gonna tell your mama? Like, are you gonna tell her over the phone or in person?
In person. I'm going by there tonight.
Okay, so she knows.
Huh? She kind of know, but I didn't tell her everything because she kind of know I got a surprise for her because she was kind of suspicious while I'm telling her don't put a down payment on the car. So because she was about to do it today and I stopped her. So.
Yeah. So okay, because I was going to like you should have had her come to where you are at and just like be in front of the cameras. That would have been a commercial for sure. Especially if she started crying, like that would have been the next DraftKings commercial.
You're right, a Kodak moment.
All right, so we got. We have 8 minutes left. We have the Panthers driving, and this is just turning into something brutal as far as the sweat goes. Like we know, like I usually don't call it, but you've got this locked up. Like you've got this locked up. There's no way that the Panthers could get 2 pick sixes. Like there's no way anyone's gonna pass you by. So I just would rather us get this over with and grant you the millionaire and see your Michael Jackson dance.
Yes, I'm ready. So they can turn the music on. I'm ready. Good, I need you to come hold this phone. My money dance. Come hold the phone. This for you, DraftKings. DraftKings, you the best. Come grab the phone. Play with the music. Put the phone on me. You got to turn this away. Hold up, this away. You got to make sure you're facing me. Hold on. Take these headphones off.
All right, so now we've got in this place, you're going to see the money dance.
Yeah.
So the money dance is going to happen.
But it don't matter. It's over.
From, I guess. Oh. So hoping to get some music to hear him dance and do the money dance.
Game's still going, but I still don't want.
You can see Gus was a linebacker in his day. He's a big old boy. All right. So I called it. I knew we were going to have 2 field goals and then use the rest of time. It's just how it's gone. Such is life. Reminder, this Friday. Oh, we've got the Thriller.
I heard it.
I think I heard the Thriller. All right.
Hey. All right. No more fake watches. Put it down the floor. See this?
He said no more fake watches.
Fake watches. Look at this. I'm gonna stop it. Put it on the ground. Put it down the ground. Yeah. It won't break. It won't break.
Just beat it. Oh man, the money dance. Oh man. All right. Oh. God.
All right. All right. Hold on. It's over.
Oh.
All right.
Okay, Gus. You just stomped the fake watch.
Oh man. All right. Yeah, it still won't break.
Maybe it's not a fake. Oh gosh. Oh man, that was the money dance. Oh, absolute money.
It's great. Hey, no more fake watches. No more fake dogs. No more fake watches. It is fake. I bought this for $25 from a corner store. Hey, I'm for real. Don't feed with it. Don't feed with it. Something it won't break though. Look. Oh, it did. Wait a minute. This fake too. No fake jewelry. Thank you, DraftKings. Yeah.
Thank you, DraftKings.
Wait a minute. This is fake too. Let me think about it. Hold on. Do the earrings? $3.99 at the beauty salon.
Oh, earrings $3.99 at the beauty salon.
About injury. Hold on. Fantasy injury. Hold on.
Oh no, he got a fantasy injury.
Let's go. Yeah.
Oh.
I'm out next week. I'm out for next week. Hold on.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well.
Yeah.
Oh man, he's feeling good. Got the $1 million. He just destroyed his big fake watch.
Yes.
That gives meaning to the that gives meaning to the phrase "Welcome to the big time."
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes. And it won't be the last time. Trust me. Wait till my next week round up. Hey, come on, gang.
He said, "Come on, gang." Yeah.
Oh my God. That's gonna be the thing. Hey.
That's Gustavius.
Hey.
All right.
Hey. Yeah.
I think he's still dancing there in the background. Oh man, it's just what I needed. After midnight here on the East Coast, just waiting for this game to end. I had a feeling it would be like this. I did not have a feeling I would be seeing the money dance from Gustavius be so money. Is exactly what it was. So we'll see. He's still dancing. I might start joining him as soon as this game ends, to be honest. Like I will be dancing in celebration for this game ending. But yeah, okay. So before, as just keep the camera on him as I'm talking. We have a huge NBA slate this Wednesday. So it's let's see if I can find it. It is the return to the court, a $1 million contest with $100,000 going to first. So make sure you're getting into that. It is 57,000 entries. We're about to see the game hopefully be over with Graham Gano. And we still see Gus. I'm just like talking normal, and Gus is just this is just like a normal thing that's happening. Like I'm used to Gus dancing as I'm talking. We need to have this happen every show where we just get Gus dancing in one camera and me talking in the other. But yeah, a big basketball tournament coming up. Also have the NFL. Oh man, game over. Also have the NFL Sunday Million next week, and we'll be back with the Sweat Show. Let's see. I don't know what the internet connection is like. All I know is I see Gus dancing. So congratulations to the newest millionaire. Congratulations to the newest millionaire, G-Val style, Gus. Gus is dancing already. Said he wasn't going to be doing any more. Gus said he wasn't going to be doing any more fake watches or fake earrings. Fake watch he got for $25. Fake earrings, $3.99 at the beauty salon. So, Gus, welcome to the big time. I know you can't hear me. Welcome to the big time. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in to the Week 8 Sweat Show. Woo! Make sure you're tuning in next week as well. We'll have many more guests, and it will be another fun time. And, yeah, so appreciate you sticking with us. Hopefully you'll be seeing that clip for some time to come. So I don't know if we could have done it without Gus's help and his money dance. So shout out to him. Shout out to everybody joining us via interviews. And thanks for tuning in. We will see you next time here on the DraftKings Sweat Show.